we say goodbye to Radizet and to Equilibrium. Game 1 from Firefly is going to be on Solaris, followed by Hecate, Alcyone, Hardlead, Oceanborn, and Golden Aura. Okay, now something very important about these map picks. Firefly, you can see there's 3 map picks, are Solaris, Hardlead, and Oceanborn. Small maps. Short rush distance by ground, very aggressive maps there. Meanwhile, Cyan went for Alcyone and Hecate, which tells us much more standard, much more defensive, much more mid-game oriented. So based on the map picks and map vetoes, so far everything rings true as what we spoke about when it comes to the players and their playstyle. So far everything looks like it makes sense, but what about the games themselves? What about the games themselves? Because game 1 is going to be on Solaris. We're going to be getting ready to dive on in against Solaris. Does have a lot of bases, true, but also has speed zones. You can be very assertive, very aggressive on this map, especially with Blink Stalkers as well. You can be very mobile, very flexible. Solaris can really pop things off. I'm curious how things pan out. Here we go, game 1. We are loading on in. And in the bottom right, we do have... Oh, look out, no. We do have Firefly offside. And in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss Cyan for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. Sorry, I'm still waking up, actually. All good, though. All good. But here we go. The PvP, the best of 7 grand finals has commenced. As a reminder, the winner of this series will advance on into the main event. The loser will be knocked out of the tournament and will not have a chance to really flex their skill and flaunt in front of a crowd at that offline finals. So here we go. For the time being, we do have our 2-gate setups. Yo, a big shout out to the sponsors, of course. A shout out to Team WE, shout out to New TV, shout out to Doyu, Team Double, is it Double Team? Double D? Aegon and SC Boy. Big shout out. Without the lovely sponsors, this event could not be possible. This event wouldn't be happening. Big shout out as well. A special shout out to SC Boy, as they're of course one of the big organizers behind this event. Again, they've been kind of propping up and carrying the Chinese scene behind their back with WTL, with Kung Fu Cup, with Master Coliseum, and now with the StarsWar 11 as well. So big shout out to SC Boy. Again, they're the main Chinese casters. As we do have a probe scout coming out here from Cyan, and he does come across the fake proxy pylon. Again, Firefly, he hit his second pylon out of the map. Cyan's a deep enjoyer. He's a deep enjoyer. Throws down the spray as well right outside the pylon. You do love to see it. And again, it is going to be a fake from Firefly. We're getting into a standard build. Likewise, Cyan is aware of that as well. Now we're getting to our first units of choice. It's going to be double Stalker out of Firefly. Cyan going Stalker Sentry instead. Okay, very interesting here. Is going for a safer opener from Cyan, which makes sense. A much more aggressive opener here out of Firefly. He's not just moving out with 2 Stalkers, he's moving out with his 3rd and 4th Stalker as well. So a very active style here. Very aggressive start from Firefly. Probe does get shut down. Looks like we're making a 2nd sentry here for Cyan, just to be safe. Probe Scout does confirm that the pylon wasn't utilized in any way. There was no hidden tech, for example. And we are settling on into our natural bases. Now, again, the role here should be Cyan being the defender and Firefly being the aggressor. We do have the Hallucination Scout moving out across the map to get a bit of a scout off. Firefly is pushing out with his Stalkers, or it looks like he wants to try to catch any units that would punish that pylon. As Firefly sets up a proxy pylon towards the south, Hallucination will get eyes on the expansion, so Cyan knows that Firefly is not going for an all-in. At least for now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Twilight Councils are on the way for both Cyan and Firefly, and they do get scouted. But what I'm curious by, what I'm concerned by, is that proxy pylon. Now, because Firefly has a pylon out on the map, if he wanted to, yes, he is using it to reinforce, but he could even try to spice things up even further with a proxy Dark Shrine, but it looks like it's just a reinforcing pylon as he's moving out across the map. Cyan, how good are your force fields? Pretty good. Good force fields here. 1 Stalker goes down. We're going to get a 2nd Stalker as well. Big losses here for Firefly. 2 Stalkers for nothing. We could even get a 3rd. Oh my god, the force fields. We get a 3rd. We get a 4th Stalker as well. So Firefly, a 5th and a 6th. 6 Stalkers for nothing. I could be crazy, but I believe we have not picked off a single unit here. So Cyan popping off already. A very good trade, getting 6 Stalkers for free. Not bleeding out a single unit here. He shuts down the pylon as well, comes across the proxy. And Cyan, you can see him have a massive lead. You can see it there in the supplies. As Cyan, he's got, what, double, triple the army supply here of Firefly. Firefly, he tries to come in here with a bit of a counterattack, but he's shut down. Depths harassed across the map. GG gets called. It's too much of a deficit, and Cyan takes game number 1. GG, well played. Again, that was a brutal game for Firefly. He fumbled the ball quite hard there. Again, didn't kill a single unit. He was caught by the force fields. He misrallied into the army as well. Like, that could not have gone any worse. And in the end, he had to tap out then and there. Just too much of a deficit, and some solid play out of Cyan. GG, well played. Oh, the juice box it's back. The juice box. For those that are curious, if you were here for day number 2, Firefly was sipping on that juice box. He was sipping down some lemonade while he had his way with lemon in the semi-finals. So the juice box is back. We're staying hydrated. And Firefly, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. We expect better from Firefly. We know that he has it, and we know how good of a player Firefly is. And mistakes like what we saw in game 1, they're not acceptable. They're not acceptable. Not at this level of play. Not against Cyan. So Firefly, we need to tighten things up. We need to wake up, and we need to bounce back here in game 2. And again, when it comes to the maps here, Solaris was Firefly's pick, and now we're getting to Cyan's map of choice. Again, it is going to be a bit of a longer one, a bit of a larger one. We're loading in to Hecate. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have for Team Offside, Firefly. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent, we have the red Chinese Protoss, Cyan, for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. The PvP does continue. And Firefly spicing it up. Okay, so we're loading into Hecate. Now, Hecate has a couple of interesting features. One, it is quite a wide map. There are a lot of bases to be taken, so that can kind of lend towards a longer game. But the rush distance by ground is short. The rush distance by ground is quite short, so it doesn't take long at all to get across the map and to actually get in the face of your opponent. There is a ramp outside the natural, which can make aggression be quite difficult. So we'll see if Firefly can use that to his advantage, because Firefly is going for an economic opener. It's a 2-gate opener out of Cyan. Firefly, he's setting up for a gate expand. Very greedy build. And there it is. There is the expansion. So, fun fact, Firefly, he opened up with 1 gas. It was a single gas opener out of Firefly. He goes for a gate expand before Cybercore. This is the greediest build you can go for. This is the greediest build you can go for in PvP. And Cyan sees this. How does he respond? I expect a 1 base all in. Like, based on this build, like the balls here on Firefly to go for a gate expand on Hecate. There's no ramp to defend yourself. Not like Side Delta, not like Radisson Station. My eyes are on Cyan. I can see the probe skirting around towards the left-hand side. Do we throw down a proxy pylon? The depths are going to be on the way. At least initially here for Cyan. Likewise, Firefly going for his own. And very important here, I don't know if you saw, but Firefly, he was chasing that probe. The probe did go towards the left-hand side of the map, but there was a probe of Firefly constantly on the chase there, making sure that if Cyan did throw down a pylon, the Firefly would see it. So there we go, Adepts, they do pop out. They do pop, they shut down the probe, trying to deny any kind of scouting information. Firefly is aware of the double Adept opener. Oh, we do get our first hits in. Ooh, and Firefly takes a lot of damage already. Yeah, we do cancel the shade. Or we do commit, actually. Firefly behind this, going into a Stargate. This should be for an Oracle to harass across the map, and we could then go into a Void Rays if need be. There it is, the first Oracle's on the way. Cyan, he is not punishing this, by the way. He is going for a double sentry follow-up after the Adepts and going for an expansion. So Cyan, he is going to be behind in the economy. You can see already, Firefly, he's up 5 probes. He's up 5 workers, and that worker lead is going to extend even further as the game goes on. Adepts, they do shade into the main base, and they will get some damage done. Again, very necessary damage here from Cyan. He gets in, he gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3 probe kills. We're going to get a 4th, and can we get a 5th? Ooh, it's going to be close. Shield battery does finish, and yeah, we're not going to get 5 probes. Regardless, 4 probes to Adepts, not a bad trade for Cyan. He also gets a full scout. He also confirms that the Oracle did come out first, and that he wasted energy on that Oracle as well. So not a bad start out of Cyan. Now he's only down 2 probes instead of 5. So he has recovered a little bit. But we can see that Firefly is not going to take this line down. He opened up double Oracle. Not just 1, but 2. With 2 Oracles, you can one-shot probes. And the goal here for Firefly is to get some economic damage done across the map as he is zooming out. Behind this, Twilight Councils are on the way. Blink is on the horizon here for Cyan. I imagine for Firefly as well. Oracles, they threaten the main base, but Cyan is in position. Does push Firefly back. So far, so good for Cyan. Hallucination Scouts coming in, getting eyes on everything, does confirm the upgrades. We can see that it is going to be Blink for Firefly. So Blink for both players. So far, Firefly hasn't been able to get too much damage up with those Oracles, but he does get an Adept. Gets 1. Does get 1 Adept. Doesn't get any economic damage. Yes, yo, Firefly goes right into that 3rd. Oh my god. Quite a fast 3rd base there from Firefly. I mean, fast natural base into a fast 3rd. Firefly trying to snowball out of control with that economy. Again, we'll see if he can get away with it. Cyan goes for his own 3rd later than his opponents. Bear that in mind. So still behind in the overall worker count and the overall base count as well. And those Oracles are still poised to dive in. Ooh. As 1 Adept goes down, we get 1 Adept shading him, but 1 Adept cannot really threaten the mineral line too much. And the Adepts, they're going to be shut down. Is going to be chased back. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, as Firefly is distracted, Cyan, he's coming in. Does hit the 3rd base. Firefly out of position. Blink not quite done for the blue Protoss. So far, good force fields. Very nice force fields, abusing the fact that Blink is delayed. Yeah, and Cyan, he's taking a better fight here. Shuts down 1, shuts down 2 Stalkers, gets a 3rd Stalker as well. Is going to be forced back. Firefly now kicks in with his own Blink. And with the defender's advantage, Firefly shuts this down. He shuts down the army, gets into the main base. Probes are falling as well. Not the best target firing. Oh, as we bleed out an Oracle. We do bleed out one of those Oracles, but we managed to get 5 probe kills. Firefly maintains his economic lead. And again, his defender's advantage really did kick in. He was able to hold on, able to survive. Now going for his own counterattack. Ooh, nice blinks out of Cyan. Gets an extra Stalker. Slightly better trades here by Cyan. As Firefly is going for a massive gateway explosion. That's 5 more gates on the way. That's what, 8, 9 gates in total? Jesus. It's a massive gateway explosion. We're going into charge. So it's going to be Blink alongside charge lots as well. Very gateway heavy composition. Cyan, he's not there yet. Cyan instead opting to go for a faster robo into, I imagine, immortal production. Has not gone into charge. There we go, Stalkers pushing on forward. They do get a probe. Oh, a bad pick off there by Firefly. Gets a Stalker. 4th base on the way by Cyan. Oh my god, Bappy. Okay. Is going for his 4th. Likewise, Firefly going for his own, slightly later than that of Cyan's. Is moving out, is being active. Again, both players have comparable economies and comparable armies. I would say that, I mean, Firefly does have a slightly higher Stalker count. And he does end up threading the needle here. He does hit the 3rd. Gets a pylon. Blinks the hell out of there. Gets a couple of probes as well. Not a bad pick up here by Firefly. 4 workers and max the hell up. Let's back the hell up from there. Again, we do see Cyan still maintaining that worker lead, so he could afford to bleed out a couple of probes. Could afford it. Charge is now done for Firefly. Charge just starting up for Cyan. This feels delayed. Like, this doesn't feel intentional here. Like, charge is so late for Cyan. And as a result, Firefly, he just has a better army. He just has a superior army here, just snowballing out of control, pushing towards the left-hand side, and can Cyan hold? He has the high ground, he has the concave, but here come the reinforcements. Yeah, more Zealots gonna be warping in. We force ourselves up the ramp, and Cyan, he cannot defend against this, he cannot hold. The boys are being pulled. Overcharge, shield battery gets focused down. The overcharge does nothing. And Firefly, he's just collapsing on this army, cleaning this up. Again, Cyan, his charge was late, his gateways were late, his army just pales in comparison to that of Firefly. And you can see that Cyan, he has 1,000 minerals in the bank. I do think that charge was, we may have forgotten charge there. The gateways were delayed regardless. And yeah, Firefly, he's just snowballing out of control. He's just busting through the 4th base, getting on top of the 3rd as well. And Cyan, he just cannot keep up. And Firefly is snowballing out of control, diving on top of the army. GG gets called, and Firefly will take game number 2. Whew. GG. Get this man into the mid game. Oh, he's waking up. Let's go. You can see Firefly just slapping his cheeks. Just making sure he's awake, making sure he's up and ready to go. So Cyan, likewise, taking a swig of that Red Bull energy drink, question mark. And he may want to rethink. We're diving into our next game and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone, we have Firefly for offside. A little bit out of focus. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Cyan for mystery gaming. I lost in the first round, so it's not me. It's fine, Bobby. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're a necessary evil. It's fine. This is the premier SC2 tournament stream, as far as I'm concerned. Ah, less than 3. Less than 3. Gracias, Bobby. Gracias. As we are settling in, again, we're tied up 1-1 so far, and we're going to be getting into game number 3. Again, Alcyone, as we briefly mentioned, is a much more macro-oriented map. The 3rd base, the 4th base, and even the 5th base location are very defendable. We have ramps leading into them. We have choke points that you can make use of. It can be really hard to break these, but we'll see if we can go that far. It's still PvP, and we can still pop off and be hyper-aggressive early on. As Firefly, okay, we're good. I was like, are we going for a gate expand? No. 2 gate openers from both players. 2 gate opener out of Cyan, 2 gate opener out of Firefly. Everything looking as it should. And we're just waiting to see what our first 2 units are going to be. This time, no one is hiding their second pylon. You can see here it's in the main base of Cyan. Here it's in the main base of Firefly, so no one is going for any proxy early on, and no one is faking a proxy like Firefly tried to do in game 1. So we're just settling into this, into the early game. We are settling into that early game, and yeah, from here we're just going to be sharking around and trying to get a read on the first couple of units. It is going to be double Stalker out of Cyan and double Stalker out of Firefly. Oh, my apologies. One of the Stalkers was cancelled. It's going to be Stalker Sentry. Okay. So once again, Firefly is going to have a much more aggressive and dominant start here. He will have the advantage when it comes to firepower of his initial units. Meanwhile, Cyan will have a more defensive stance, going for scouting information instead. The power of the Sentry opener is that you gain access to a hallucination. With that hallucination, you get to see exactly what your Protoss opponent is doing. And you can see here, double Stalker into double Sentry. Again, Sentries have a lot of value and a lot of power in the early game of PvP. It's very common to see them as both players are investing. And again, with the hallucination, you can see if your opponent's going for a Robo Opener, a Stargate, if they're going for a 1-base all-in, if they're going for a Dark Shrine, anything and everything can be spotted. As both players are going to be expanding, additional sentries on the way. And we have our tech of choice, at least from the side of Firefly. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener. This should be for Blink. Should be for Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, Cyan has yet to really invest into his own. Again, a big reason for this is his gases are delayed, or his gas income is stifled because he invested into additional sentries. So he prioritized additional sentries and delayed his own tech. As Hallucination comes in, and Cyan does confirm. He sees the expansion, he also does see the Twilight Council. So Cyan, he sees everything. Meanwhile, Firefly should soon be going for his own Hallucination. And there it is, it's on the way. And Firefly gets into the main bases. You can see it on the minimap there, and he will get eyes in. There's the Hallucination comes in. Firefly also confirms the natural base timing and the tech of choice. So both players are headed in the same direction. Both players are going into their 2-base setup, into Blink Stalkers. And they both know that as well. You can see the continued Hallucination scouting here from Cyan. Trying to figure out if there's any additional gateways, trying to figure out if there's a Dark Shrine, for example. Adepts will threaten the Shade. Oh, but Firefly, he does wall up. Does deny the Shade. And now we're waiting to see any kind of big deviation, and we already see one. Firefly throws down a third... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, like, yo, we got a third gateway. That's just the wall. Never mind. Never mind. From here, we should be looking to expand and take a third. We should be looking for a third base, and there it is. Firefly does throw it down, is spotted by the Hallucination, and Cyan isn't far behind either, throwing down his own third base as well. So now we're easing in towards the mid-game. We're not going for any kind of 2-base all-ins. We're heading into our third, and the big reason as to why this is occurring, we spoke about it, is because of the map. The map is very difficult to really assert yourself and end the game early, so everyone's just headed into the third bases. Hallucination is going to be focused on good force fields out of Cyan. Blink is done for Firefly. He's going to try and force his way through. Shield battery does finish up in time, but we do get one Stalker. Firefly does focus on one of those Stalkers, but oh, is going to bleed out one of his own. Yeah, a 1-for-1 trade. With that, Cyan threatens an Adept Shade. Does get one probe. Doesn't quite get a second. But gets one Worker. Cyan going for a counterattack as well, trying to punish Firefly. Those Stalkers are low. The Stalkers, they're battered and bruised, but it looks like Cyan, he won't risk it. He will back off. Again, the Defender's Avenge is quite strong here, so you do want to retreat and just live to fight another day. Wait for a second push here once we're on 3 bases. Now we're getting to 4 gate setups. We have our 4th gate, or 3rd and 4th gate on the way. +1 is on the way. Robo charge has started for Cyan. If you remember, Cyan's charge was late on Hecate. It was very late on Hecate. This time though, Cyan is rushing into it. So much better timing from our red Protoss. Firefly only a couple of seconds behind. So again, we're headed in the same direction. Cyan has a slight worker lead. Firefly has a slight army lead, but these are only like minute differences. Ooh, as actually Cyan throws down 2 more gates. Okay, so Cyan is going up to 6 gateways here instead of the 4 of his opponents. Firefly's going for a 4th. Uh-oh. Firefly, he's being too greedy. He's going for a 4th base. So instead of a 4th base, Cyan threw down additional gateways. We have a Warp Prism on the way. Cyan's pushing. Cyan, he's going to be pushing out on 3 bases with a very large army. And Firefly hasn't seen this yet. He's just now getting into his gateways. He's going to be down in production, down in army. Oh, my apologies. As I assumed that Cyan was going to be pushing, Cyan, he takes the gold. Okay. It is a later 4th, but it is the gold. Let's go. Cyan, he has gone for the gold base. The Prism is out. Cyan hasn't committed yet. But charge is now done. You can see Cyan vying for map control. Now moving out. Has to be very careful with that Warp Prism. Again, with the arrival of the Prism, I assume that Cyan would be a little bit more aggressive, and he is asserting himself, but he is not committing. So we're just kind of posturing here in the center of the map. Charge soon to finish up here for Firefly. A go base has been spotted. So it does drag Firefly towards the right-hand side, which means his fourth base is going to be exposed. And we're going for it. We're going for the fourth. Firefly out of position. Do we recall? We do go for the recall here. A risky move here from Firefly. The army, it's already on top of him. Force fields are thrown down, and we're bleeding out Stalkers. Yeah, Firefly is bleeding out far too many Stalkers, and Cyan, he catches Firefly out of position, catches him off guard. And there's no shield battery, there's no overcharge, no site defense. This is a brutal fight for Firefly, and Cyan, he's snowballing out of control. Big reaction there on cans. GG gets called, and Cyan takes a lead in the series. GG. Cheater is on this player in the top left. We have for team offside, Firefly. And in the bottom right hand corner, we have for Mystery Gaming, Cyan. Here we go. The PvP does continue. And again, Cyan one game away from reaching that match point, getting ever closer here to that championship, to that qualifying spot, to the offline finals. Casito. Meanwhile, we do have a Firefly setting up here across the map. We'll keep our eye on that probe, but I believe Cyan is just coming into scouts. I'm not so certain we're going to be proxying anything. Yeah, as the probe is coming in, Cyan just getting an early scout here on Firefly, making sure that everything is as it should be. Ooh, Firefly, he does skirt around the edge of the map. He may be opting to hide his pylon. Yeah, it's looking to be the case. So Cyan, he gets behind the mineral line, and the second pylon should be thrown down out on the map, as it is a 2-gate opener from both players. Yeah, the pylon is thrown down at the third base location of Firefly. So he's hiding his pylon. Basically what's happening here is that Firefly is faking a proxy. He's faking it all in. And we'll see if Cyan takes the bait. As he knows. He knows now that the pylon is missing. He's like, hold up, what's going on? And immediately Cyan is checking. He's scouting around the northern half of the map. Very fortunate scouting pattern here as Cyan, he will come across the pylon almost immediately. He finds the pylon, does get eyes on it, and with that, Cyan now knows that there's no all-in, there's no cheese, there's no proxy. He's safe and sound. He is safe and sound. Despite that, ooh, Cyan, he did send out a second probe. That means there's a little bit more inefficient mining going on there from Cyan. So he's taking it very seriously. And that is going to give Firefly a slight edge here. It is going to give him a slight edge. As the probe is hunted down. We are opening up Adept. It was double Adept out of Firefly. We're getting to our Adepts here from Cyan. Adepts are going to be threatening a shade. The expansion is going to be delayed. Oh, we get in. Uh-oh. The Adepts, they do get into the main base, and probes are going to be going down. There's a lot of damage early on. We get 1, we get 2, we're going to get 3, we're going to get up to 4. And can we get more than that? A 5th probe goes down. A 6th probe. This is far too much. Oh, this is borderline game-ending damage this early on. 8 probes go down. Across the map, Cyan doesn't get in. 9 probe kills. And that's a bit of a dynamic here of PvPs. You have to be on point with your Adept defense. You cannot slip up. You cannot make mistakes. That is 9 probe kills early on, and Firefly, he is looking comfortable. As a reminder, Firefly also has a faster expansion. He has a faster natural base. So Firefly is pretty well ahead here in the economy. And the pressure is now on Cyan. And yep, there we go. I was going to say that Cyan, he needs to make some magic happen. He needs to get some damage done. And he has heavily invested into Adepts. We have, what, 6 Adepts on the ground? Hey, we gotta go. The pressure is on, and again, based on the army, with a shield battery, with a wall, Firefly should be okay. That's a big if though. He does need that wall. Adepts, they burn a shade. Pylon gets thrown down. Do we commit? We don't. Oh, yeah. We play a game of chicken there, and Firefly does flinch. Did panic for a moment, threw down the force field. So wasted force field there out of Firefly. Cyan going to be rotating around. He did kill that pylon. Threatening another shade. Firefly getting supply blocked here. Ooh, brutal supply block. Does break free. Cyan going to be retreating. And Firefly still has a bit of economy, and that is going to be reflected here in the size of the army. As Firefly does have the supply lead. Going for the War Prism, which means Firefly is about to push out. Firefly is about to counterattack, and we'll see if Cyan can defend, because even though Cyan has a comparable army size, he has mainly Adepts. And in a head-to-head fight, Adepts, they don't do well defensively. They don't trade well against Mass Stalker. Here we go. Firefly is pushing. Oh, he could actually dive into the main. He's going for it. He's going for the dive. There it is. The sentries have arrived, and we can force field the ramp. Now, thankfully, Adepts, they can shade in. They can shade in, and it looks like they will. We depower the gateways. Good juggling here with the sentries. We do barely keep them alive. We have another force field available. The juggling once again. We retain that sentry, threat and another force field, and Cyan, he's stuck outside of his main base. He cannot defend. Only can defend with the depth. So we spoke about that. They just can barely contend against these Stalkers. Another force field. Sentries trickle on in. Boys are being pulled. And Cyan, he's just being pulled apart here. The main base in control here of Firefly. The prism goes down, but the damage is done. Yeah, the army cannot be dealt with. We have one gateway we can warp in, one unit at a time. And Firefly, he has done it. GG gets called. Firefly ties up the series 2-2. That's gonna be a fast series. It went. Protoss have struggled to do early on. Oh, hold on. As we're getting into our next game, we do have in top left corner, we have Firefly, offside, and in the bottom right, we have as opponent, we have for Mystery Gaming, Cyan. Let's go. They are. Very astute, very astute. As we are getting into game number 5 here to determine who takes a lead in this series, in this PvP. We can see Firefly, bold move, by the way. Once again, you can see that Firefly, he's a lot more chaotic, or a little more flexible in his openers and his builds. Firefly going for the gateway on the low ground. And do we go for another gate expand? Do we rush into a greedy build here, as Firefly only has one gas in the main, one pylon on the low ground, and show us the Nexus? Yeah, Firefly, he's building up those minerals. He's going for the Nexus. A very greedy build here out of Firefly. Very greedy. And will Cyan attempt to punish? As a reminder, this is not the first time that Firefly has done. It's not the first time he's done this in this series. Earlier, I think it was on Hecate, where Firefly whipped this out, and Cyan played macro. He just played macro, he just took his own expansion, he just played from behind instead, and he was able to try to recover and able to bounce back. We'll see though, is Cyan tempted to all in? Rushes by ground on Oceanborn isn't too bad, to be honest. But we spoke about how Cyan, he's more mid-game oriented. He isn't really the most aggressive player out there. So will he just let it happen? Oh boy. Yeah, pylons being set up on the low ground. Looks like Cyan, he's just going to expand. Do have our first students of choice. It's going to be Double Stalker. We do have that Stargate follow-up here from Firefly. This should be for Oracles. Okay, Cyan, he does go for his Twilight Council. He does hide a probe towards the top right. Do we go for a proxy gateway? Do we set up a proxy? My eyes are on Cyan. Interesting location. With a Twilight Council. If we go for a proxy pylon here on the right-hand side, it's going to be a Dark Shrine, right? What do you have in store for us? We would have seen it by now. We would have seen that pylon. Again, no expansion yet here from Cyan. Adapter is going to be shut down. Limited scouting information. He goes for the ninja base. You know, that was in the back of my mind. When I saw that he didn't throw down a pylon, I was like, is he going for a ninja? No shot. Not Cyan, right? He is. Okay, so we have a ninja base here from Cyan. Is moving out with his army. So basically, the purpose of a ninja base is he's faking a one base all in. He's faking a one base all in. You can see the reaction here. Firefly is going for a Void Ray. He's throwing down not just one shield battery, second shield battery as well. And Cyan, he's hoping to just scare Firefly into containing himself onto bases. There we go. A cannon is on the way as well. We're dancing with the Void Ray. Stalkers, they do make it out. They take a little bit of hull damage. And you can see Firefly coming back in. He confirms there is no expansion. And you, oh my god, big reactions out of Firefly. More cannons, more shield batteries on the way. He thought about the robo as well. You can see the another pylon. Firefly is convinced there's an all-in coming, but we know that there's nothing on the way, that Cyan is expanding. Okay. We have a game. Let's go. The mind games are real here. Look at this. 3 shield batteries, 3 cannons. Oh my god. We're setting up in the main. We're setting up cannons in the main base. And shield batteries as well. Firefly's terrified. Oh my god. He's crazy. And Cyan, he recalls here towards the top right. He's going to be saturating his base. His Nexus, of course. Firefly just producing more Void Rays. The robo was delayed here for immortal production, but it was delayed in favor of more cannons and shield batteries. So again, Firefly is ready for an all-in that will never come, and Cyan is happily probing up, getting into the next step, getting into his Twilight Council, Blink, Gateways as well. Soon he's going to be taking a 3rd base. Ooh, does set up a proxy pylon though. Now, Cyan has to be careful. He does have a lot of stalkers, but again, we don't want to commit into this. But again, he's not going to commit, but he's faking aggression, right? He's showing his army, he's poking in. He wants to try to sell this story as much as possible. You can see behind this, Cyan throws down a robo. Throws down a robo, gets a gateway, picks it off, a good pick off. More shield batteries. Oh my god! Firefly. He's fighting shadows right now. Oh my god. Look at more cannons, more shield batteries. He's not like this. And again, there are stalkers, but like you can see that there's nowhere near enough stalkers to break this location. There never will. Cyan is still just making more probes. Charge is now on the way for Cyan. He's a master salesman. He is. Aye. The scam is real. It's like what you need right now, Firefly. You need, what is it, like natural disaster insurance? Okay, you need to be ready for earthquakes, for like hurricanes. It's like, mate, there's never been an earthquake here in like in the history of the earth. No. You need everything. You need all the insurance. You need it all. You need like triple pane windows. Oh no. There's nothing, Papi. Not like this. And yeah, from here, Cyan is just containing. He's containing his opponent. Cyan, he should be expanding behind this, should be taking a 3rd base. There's no reason to force the issue. Firefly is now moving out with his Void Rays. But we have a recall. Remember, we do have a recall available for Cyan, so you can just, even if he's out of position, he can just recall back home. He'll be safe and sound. Yeah, Void Rays are moving out. You can see the 3rd base now on the way for Cyan. It is in production. We're catching the Void Rays! No! We catch out the Void Rays. We do blink on forward. We do get one. One Void Ray does go down. The others have been spotted. Cyan getting in position. You can see Firefly trying to take a 3rd base, but remember, because Firefly invested so much of his of his income into shield batteries and cannons, they are not there to protect the third. The third is vulnerable to Cyan. Charge is done. Charge is done. Shield battery is not up and running. There's no overcharge either. We can dive on this army. Yeah, we focus down one of the Void Rays. And we can back off, and we just have to never engage with the natural and deny the third over and over again. That's the win condition for Cyan. Just deny the third. And contain. Yeah, reinforcements are on the way. Yeah, the base is cancelled, and that's all he has to do. Deny the third. He's got his own. Cyan does have the better economy. You can see that the worker counts are similar, but Firefly is he's oversaturated. He's not mining efficiently whatsoever. A massive gateway explosion. 6 more gates on the way. Firefly, he's forced into a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in out of our blue Protoss player. Meanwhile, Cyan, he has so much freedom here to chip away at the army. So much freedom. And yeah, you can see Cyan take a massive worker lead. And yeah, with that Firefly, he's just, yeah, stuck at home. He will eventually break out. That is true. Eventually. Still doesn't know. Yeah, he still doesn't know. Doesn't know, Papi. Doesn't know. He never saw the ninja base. Never knew what was happening. Overcharges popped. Firefly going for a prism across the map to harass. 4th base is on the way. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, Cyan just getting further and further ahead here. Gets a cannon. Again, Cyan has to be careful. He doesn't have to force the issue. No reason to dive into the natural. Just contain and max out. If Cyan wanted to, we could even take out into Sky Toss. If he really wanted to at this point. Prism is coming in. Observer goes down, and the drop does get into the main. Again, we can force a recall, but the army's going to be engaging. Oh, Firefly has to be careful to be caught out. Overcharge is fault. We do have a defensive warp in. Yeah, some units are going to be recalled back home. And we have plenty to work with here for Cyan. He just picks this army apart. Oh, the prism! The prism got sniped. Zealots get cleaned up, and now we can focus on the main fight here. 6 immortals for Firefly. It's a hefty army, but he's being overwhelmed. Reinforcements have arrived as well. We have the juggling from the prism for Cyan, and he can focus on the immortals one after the other. We had 6, went down to 4. And again, Firefly just can never expand. Can never take that third. It's not gonna happen. We see Showtime after this? We will. After the Asia qualifier is the European qualifier. So Showtime is going to be featured after this. After this best of 7, as we dive on top of the army, we collapse here on the Archons. And the Immortals, overcharges popped. And again, this is the best position for Firefly, but it's a numbers game. He's down to a handful of units. Down to 4 Zealots and 2 Immortals. Again, Cyan, he got away with murder this game. Like, it was crazy what he was able to pull off. An insane situation. Just sold the story. Didn't just sell, he sold everything he wanted, mate. GG gets called. Cyan, he can retire from here. And with that, GG, he does take a lead in the series. Oh my god. GG. I'm talking about Cyan retiring from him. Go to the ace match. We are so close. Again, it's been a back and forth series, but I can't believe it's been that long. But here we go. We're diving into game number 6. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player, Firefly, for offside. And in the bottom right, we have our player on match point, Cyan, for Mystery Gaming. One more win is all that Cyan needs to take it all and to advance on into the main event, into the offline finals. Meanwhile, Firefly has to bounce back here and now, and it's been a very chaotic start so far, a very chaotic series. On TL, this is listed under replay cards. Yes. So, we don't have a delay for StarsWar qualifiers because, you know, there's an inbuilt delay with the clean feed, but specifically for this event, we are doing this via, well, this event actually took place 2 days ago, but we were casting another event at the time. We were casting Sparkling Tuna Cup, so we could not cast 2 events at once, unfortunately. So we're catching up with the Asia qualifiers, and the European qualifier, which is in an hour, will be casted live. Or with the 30-second delay. So, kind of live, but, you know, with a slight second delay there, if you're interested. As we are selling in. So far, it is going to be a a 2-gate opener from our players. We do have our 2-gate opener set up from both Cyan and Firefly. No one is opting to go for the gate expand this time. He's safe for now. Yes, he's safe. As we have our first students of choice, it's going to be double Adept out of Firefly, double Stalker out of Cyan. Okay, interesting. So Firefly is going to be a little bit more aggressive here. His goal is to bypass the Stalkers to get across the map to get into a middle line and to get some economic damage done. Meanwhile, Cyan, his goal here is to maintain map control, to meet those Adepts, to shut them down in a head-to-head fight. Cyan will come out on top. That's only if he can catch those Adepts. As from those Adepts, Cyan, he goes into a 3rd and 4th Stalker, so he's doubling down here on Stalker production. Cyan is going to have quite a hefty army. Firefly going for double sentry, going for some more scouting information instead. So a safer follow-up here out of Firefly. A much more assertive start from Cyan. Does come across the shade. Ooh, they will commit. They take down the probe. Good snipe there on the probe. Cyan going to go for a delayed expansion instead. Twilight Council on the way for Firefly. Getting his faster Nexus. Cyan forced to deviate his plans. Again, based on his Stalker production, based on the probe that was moving out, it does look like Cyan wanted to throw down a proxy pylon and commit, but forced out of it instead. Still sharking around with those Stalkers. Still trying to move out. There we go. He's going to be applying some pressure here at the natural base. We do throw in the force fields. Oh! Decent force field. Shield battery is done as well, so Firefly he is holding. Again, doesn't have as much DPS, but has the defender's advantage, and he will force back the army. Nexus does finish. Firefly trying to catch out some of these Stalkers with good control out of Cyan. He does pull back in time. Cyan working towards Blink. Meanwhile, Firefly, interesting, opted not to go for the Twilight Council, went for the Robo. Is going straight for the Prism. He's going straight for that War Prism instead. Oh. He's going straight for that War Prism instead, going for a delayed Twilight Council. Now with that Prism, he can get some Adepts into the main. Speaking of, there they are. Adepts, they load up into the Prism. They're headed for the main base of Cyan. 2 Adepts, 1-shot probes. So this could get a lot of damage done. Depending on the positioning of Cyan's army, depending on his reaction time, there is potential here for Firefly. There is potential. Extra gateways on the way. Interesting choice from Cyan. Adepts, they do get into the main, but a quick warp in does block them off. We don't commit to the shade. We get 2 probes. Ooh, and the Adepts survive. Very nicely done. Now, what's important is what we just saw. So, Firefly, he scouted both gateways. So he knows that we have a higher gateway count for Cyan. He also knows that even though Firefly is down in gateways, he has a faster 3rd. So Firefly is getting further ahead economically as the 3rd base is almost halfway done. Cyan is going to be focusing a lot more on his army production. Now, to make up for the Stalker deficit that Firefly has, Immortals. Immortals are on the way that will help out. Not just with the Stalker deficit, but with the Blink deficit. As Cyan has Blink, and Firefly does not. Firefly's Blink is still in production, and the Hallucination will confirm that. So there's a bit of a give and take here. Basically, Firefly is stuck defending. Firefly is stuck at home. Cyan has map control. He can move out if he so chooses, but we can see that he's getting into his own Immortal production instead, and he's trying to catch up with his own third. So we're getting into the mid game. We're getting into a longer game here. As upgrades are on the way, third bases will soon be saturated. We're calming things down. Again, Cyan has to be careful not to move his Stalkers out of position. If he does, the Prism could abuse him, could go back into the main. So we do need to keep eyes on him. Do need to keep those eyes. Meanwhile, across the map, yeah, we already have it fully saturated. Firefly does have quite an economic lead. He's going to be ahead, almost 10 workers. You have Charge on the way, +1's about to kick in. Firefly just having the better upgraded units here. Working on Charge. Cyan, he's going to be committed. He's not probing. Cyan, he's not probing. He's all in. Army's going to be clashing. Good juggling here from Cyan. Does keep that Immortal alive. Ooh, Firefly gets caught out. 3 Stalkers go down. 3 Stalkers are shut down. Firefly, a bit of an awkward fight for him. The Immortal, it gets targeted as well. A good start for Cyan, but the force fields are zoning back his army. Again, a very messy fight. Cyan trying to keep up with Firefly. And again, Cyan, he does take supply lead. He sniped the Immortal. He recalls back into the main. Probes are going down. And the Adepts are in the natural. They got 7 workers. Oh my god. Firefly, he's extending his worker lead almost up 20 probes. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Firefly. Which is why it's important right now that Firefly is forcing a fight on Cyan's half of the map, not on Firefly's. So Firefly, he has time to reinforce, to warp in, to build up his army, to work on those upgrades. Like, time is working for Firefly here. As the army's moving out. Firefly turning back. Big warping of Zealots. Charge is done. And we can surround on this. We can collapse on this. A bit premature there from Firefly. Has to back off. Has to calm things down. The army is spotted. So far, Firefly does keep up. He does have the concave. He has the high ground. The better engage. Does force Cyan back. Cyan rotating back around. Yeah, decent force fields. Gets a couple of Zealots. Gets a couple of probes. But as a reminder, this is the 4th base. Firefly, he can afford to lose it. Okay, we blink on forward. We dive on the army. Where are the Zealots, though? They're trickling on in. And with the help of these Zealots, we're breaking on through. We snipe the Prism. The Prism goes down. The Immortal's still kicking. But it does get targeted. And Firefly, he's collapsing on this army. He's cleaning this up completely. He saves the 4th base. GG gets called. And Firefly survives the all-in and ties up the series. Firefly ties up the series 3-3. We're going to the ace match. We're going the distance here. We're going all the way. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Again, Cyan, he cut workers early on. On top of that, he also was losing probes to the Adept harass. He was on 45 workers against the 60 of his opponent. It was all or nothing for Cyan. He was completely players in the Asia region. Into said ace match. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of side Delta, we have our Chinese Protoss player for offside. It is Firefly. And in the top left, we have the red Protoss player from Land of China. It is Cyan for Mystery Gaming. Whew, here we go. And as we get into the ace match, a big shout out to StarsWar 11, to the sponsors of this event. Shout out to Team W, New TV, alongside Double Esports, Aegon, Doyu, SC Boy, and some of the other sponsors that I'm unfamiliar with. Thank you so much. Without them, this would not be possible. And oh my god, we might be entering our favorite part of PvP, Phoenix Wars. Oh boy. we might be. Okay, so a couple of things. One, it's a gate expand. Because we're on side Delta, gate expand set up here from both Firefly and Cyan. Now, if all holds true, if no one goes for an all-in, and if no one tries to punish the other, this should be leading into a gate expand with a Stargate. We do have a second gas geyser from both Firefly and Cyan, which means they might go for the Cybercore Stargate before expansion, before the Nexus. And if both players open up Stargate, then we will enter Phoenix Wars. Now, this is a dynamic typically reserved for players like Max, Faction, Showtime, and Hero. I'm curious if this is also the case for Firefly and Cyan. Cybercores have been thrown down. Zealot is being forced out because of the pylon block. But again, this should be leading towards Stargate play. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep our eyes on them. Again, if it's Stargate from both players, we enter the Phoenix Wars. They are upon us. But I'm hoping we can deviate away. I'm hoping. Ooh, Probe is going to get sniped, though. That should not have happened. The Probe goes down. We do have a pylon block. There's the Stargate from Cyan. We have one piece of the puzzle. And does Firefly reciprocate? Yep, there it is. Stargate from Firefly as well. Mate, as soon as we saw the gate openers, I was like, oh, I can smell the Phoenix Wars. I can smell it, man. So the Stargates are thrown down. Both players scout each other. Because they see each other's Stargates, it should be for Phoenixes, but that's a big delay in the expansion. We get the Cyber Block here on Cyan. Probe is going to be chased down. Probe is going to be chased down here. We should eventually deal with this Cybercore. We should eventually expand and take our natural bases. And show us the Phoenixes. Show us. Oh, Oracle. He's crazy. Ooh, Oracle first out of Cyan, Phoenix first out of Firefly. I have to give the edge to Firefly. You know, in Phoenix Wars, if you don't make any Phoenixes, you're in some trouble. So, I have to give the edge to Firefly here. Cyan, very bold move going for the Oracle. He has to avoid the Phoenix. He has to keep it alive. Meanwhile, Firefly is lying in wait. Gets first couple of shots off. Does get the Zealots. Big pick up there from Firefly. Void Ray? Wait, what? What is happening? Okay, Oracle into Void Ray here from Cyan. Stalkers have arrived. Phoenix does arrive as well. We do have a shield battery there to support. Shield battery is going to be able to keep that Stalker alive a little bit longer, but it gets locked in. The Stalker gets locked in. We kill the Stalker. We're pushing into the natural base. The Void Ray is halfway done. The Oracle does nothing across the map. So far, a good start here for Firefly. The Oracle, it is breaking through. Gets one probe, gets a second. Oh, gets a third. Oh my god. But again, it runs into more Phoenixes. Oh, gets a sixth probe kill though. This should not have happened. So much damage dealt. Very nice damage dealt here by Cyan. Cyan does take a worker lead, but the army is still struggling here for our Red Protoss player. Again, he has one Void Ray, he's got a couple of Stalkers. We have Mass Phoenix here from Firefly. But at least we have, again, avoided the Phoenix Wars. That should have been where we headed, but we're not there, and we're in a weird place. We're in a very weird place. As we dive on the Void Ray, there is a shield battery, though. Cyan will defend. And we should be stabilizing on two bases. Like, Firefly should be forced back. He's getting some damage, some whole damage dealt on that Void Ray. But he shouldn't get the kill. Yeah, we have plenty to defend here, plenty to force back those Phoenixes. And we are entering the mid-game. And as we enter the mid-game, ooh, that is going to be a Dark Shrine. Okay, Firefly. I mean, there's no Robo, and we just killed the Oracle, so there is zero detection right now. Zero detection for Cyan. And even if there was an Oracle, we could dive on it. Speaking of, oh, the Phoenix! The Phoenix is going to be trapped. Can we hunt it down? Oh my god. Void Ray gets punished. We go for the recall. And we get away. We barely get away. The Phoenixes, they do make it back home. And there it is. Oh, we have a robo on the way. Let's go. We have some form of detection available. We can chrono out that observer. It is going to be close, though, because the Dark Shrine finishes first. Oh. Dark Shrine will finish first. The Phoenixes are just sharking around. Firefly, again, taking his third base, taking an economic lead. Or trying to take an economic lead. Ooh, has the proxy been found? It has. The proxy has been found. We have some DTs warping in, but they are spotted. We know exactly what's going on. We managed to get a couple of probes in the main base. We're trying to distract Cyan. Pylon does fall. DTs are waddling in. Where is the detection? Where's the observer? Uh-oh, there it is. We open the door. Firefly, he lifts up the Phoenix here. He lifts up the Stalker. Opens the door. DTs, they get in. No shot. They slip into the actual. They slip into the main base. Damage is being done. Ooh, this is game ending here. 13 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. Did I say 13? 16 probes, 17 workers, more than a mineral line. And just like that, Firefly takes a massive lead. He's already got his third base up. It's about to get up and running. Getting into Blink Stalkers behind this. Again, just really, just on the fly decision making there from Firefly to lift up that Stalker, to open things up for those Dark Templar. And we have a massive gateway explosion on the way for Firefly. Now, Cyan does have the army lead, and he does get on top of the third. Yeah, no shield battery. We're not in position. Can we save the third base? Beast is taking a lot of hits. Sustaining a lot of damage. The base is likewise taking a lot of hits from these Stalkers. Links are looking pretty good here from Firefly. Does force the overcharge. And the third base is going to be going down. Or it should be going down. We are going to be committing. The Immortal has arrived. Can we save it? Dab on top of the Immortal here, but Cyan, he's bleeding out his Stalkers. No shot. Do we save the base? We do. It was one shot away. No shot. One volley would have been enough, but alas, Firefly saves his third. It did cost him an Immortal, but he does save the third base. He still has a comparable economy here to Cyan. Reinforcements are on the way. Again, we're just going for some mass Stalker harass or mass engage. We take out the Void Ray. Shield battery's not done. Oh. Shield battery's not done. Overcharge is soon to be available in a couple of seconds, and it is popped. And we have the shield battery with it. Cyan, he holds. Whew. Does hold on. Remember, in that push from Cyan, Firefly was still getting into his own gateway explosion, but the gateways are now up and running. Firefly can now make use of them. And Firefly suddenly takes the Stalker lead. He's up in Stalkers, he's up in army. Cyan has to be very wary here with how he does push in. Catch a couple of probes. Trading with the army. That sounded like maybe a DT slipping in. That wasn't the 6 dead workers. And with this, the game is going to be calming down here for a moment. We're calming things down. We're backing off. We have 3 base versus 3 base. Firefly, the first to take his fourth, is taking his fourth. There is an upgrade lead for Cyan, so he can hit a timing with +1. +1 can be a big power spike here for the Red Protoss. So he's getting caught out. Cyan, respecting the army, backs off. There are more DT harassers coming in. As Cyan, he comes across the fourth. And he will not quite force a cancel. DT does get shut down by the cannon. Yeah, the fourth base is saved. And bleeding out a Stalker there towards the end. Does bleed out a Stalker. And that's going to be shading across the map. We do get a couple of probe kills. Very necessary as Cyan. He's down 10 workers. He's down a fourth. Hasn't even started his own, by the way. And Cyan, he's not making probes. If you can see there in the production tab side, he's not making any workers. He is committed here on 3 bases. We have 3 more gates on the way. I believe that's going to be 8 gates in total. 4th base is denied. Charge is on the way. Charge is about to kick in here for Cyan. And he just made his War Prism. Cyan, he's going to be committing. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Firefly. There we go. 4th base now on the way, next to the proxy. So Firefly sees it immediately. Cyan going for a split push, but now we're in position. Firefly, he does deflect both armies. Going for a big DT counter. No, he's going to deny the base. Not like this. They're forcing a big reaction out of Cyan. He's racing back home, but there's no saving the Nexus. There is no saving it. You can see here, Cyan is trying. No! He's trying to take another base, trying to take another 4th. Such a massive delay here. Firefly is supply blocked. To be fair, like he's having his own struggles as well. Both players going for some massive pylons or pylon explosions. Both players getting supply block for a moment. But basically, with this lead that Firefly has had, it is being represented here in his army. That's why his army supply is pretty insane. He's working on +2. Does have plenty of charge lots as well mixed in. Cyan pushing out. And again, the pressure is on Cyan. Firefly going for another big reinforcing wave of Stalkers. And the problem is that in a head-to-head fight, we can't really break Firefly anytime soon without something like Disruptors or Immortals or trying to outposition and pull Firefly apart. A head-on engagement is not going to go the way for Cyan. It's not going to be good enough. We need to go for a backstab or even something like Dark Templar. There are ways to bounce back here in PvP, but unfortunately Cyan doesn't have them available right now. And Firefly's maxed. Firefly, he's maxed out. He's catching up with +2. I'm sure he's just waiting for +2 before pulling the trigger. As +2 is going to finish up in a couple of seconds for Firefly. Cyan does have a +3 timing on the horizon, and maybe he can use that if he makes it that far. Here we go, Firefly is pushing in, diving on top of the shield battery. Gets the Prism. Prism goes down, Overcharge is popped. But a good chunk of the army is out of range of the shield battery. And Firefly backs up. And all he has to do is wait it out. Wait out the shield battery, wait out the Overcharge. That's all he does need to do. As again, numbers are on Firefly's side. The Concave, though, is looking pretty good for Cyan. Again, the defender's advantage working out quite well. Firefly bypassing the army, going for the 3rd instead. Yeah, forcing Cyan out of position. We're pushing up the ramp. Firefly bleeding out a couple of units there. A couple of Zealots, a couple of Archons. So a bit of an awkward engagement, but he gets a kill on the Nexus. The Nexus does go down. And you can see Firefly catching half of the Stalkers on the right-hand side. We can dive on top of it. Yeah, we go for the aggressive blink. We get on top of the army, and it's just a numbers game at this point. Cyan just does not have enough. This game was pretty back and forth, had a wild start. But I just can't believe that Firefly, he held on to his 3rd, he held on to his 4th. There were some opportunities for Cyan. Yeah, and with that, he is being overwhelmed. Again, this series went all the way to the ace match, went all the way to Game 7, but GG gets called, and Firefly does it. He will take the series and qualify for the StarsWar 11 main event. Oh, offside! Let's go! Firefly, Papi. It went all the way to Game 7, went the distance here, and Firefly, he will qualify for the main event. He will be a part of StarsWar 11. He'll be joining Oliveira in that event. GG, well played. My condolences to Cyan. Again, it was a good, very good effort. I mentioned it before, but I do think that Firefly and Cyan are pretty comparable in skill. I mean, clearly with a Game 7 here, they're very close in skill. Either one could have made it. Personally, I am more of a Firefly fan. I've been casting Firefly for a couple of years now, and seeing Firefly's rise, especially through 2022 and 2023, seeing him rise on the Starving Camels, initially in WTL, followed by the winter season on Platinum Heroes, like Firefly has been a bit of a favorite player on this channel, and for him to make it through is huge. Not just this, remember, Firefly and Cyan were both at IEM. They were both at IEM Katowice. They were both a part of that event as well. Again, they've been getting onto the world stage more and more often. It's great to see. And GG, congratulations. Congratulations. With that, we have our second player to join the main event. The wubs are real. I'll turn that down. But regardless, GG, well played, congratulations. And with that, that is the Asia qualifiers wrapped up. We have wrapped up the Asia qualifiers, and there were a couple of people in the chat asking about it, you know, Showtime or the European qualifier. Well, last week we went over the open qualifier for the European and the Americas region. We wrapped them up, and starting today, starting in half an hour, in 30 minutes, we have the closed qualifier. The closed qualifier for the European and the Americas region. It is going to be live here on this channel in 30 minutes. Oh boy. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Did I say in 30 minutes? Actually, you can see it right here. Hold on. 26. There's the countdown. In 26 minutes time, we're going to be live here. You can see the countdown. We're going to be leaving the stream on, so you can, you know, leave this on in the background. You can go and get some food. You can go and get some water. You can go to the bathroom. You can drain your disruptors. You can hydrate your hydras. You can massage your marines. And when you're done, we'll be here with the European and the Americas closed qualifier. If you're curious, exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, because you can see the matches ahead of us. I saw someone in the chat. Is MaxPax playing? No. MaxPax is not playing. MaxPax did sign up for the open qualifier, but because this event is an offline event, and because MaxPax does not travel to offline events, MaxPax could not compete. So he did forfeit. He forfeited in the open qualifier, and MaxPax did not or could not partake in this. So as a result, MaxPax isn't going to be a part of this. Instead, we have Rainer versus Shameless. We have Showtime versus Skilless, Geralt versus Nikic, and a Laser versus Spirit. Oh boy, we have 4 best of 3s coming up next, and we will be casting every single one after the other. Oh boy, so some really good matches up ahead of us, really good matches. I mentioned before, but I'll quickly mention it now because we have a little bit of time. When it comes to the European and Americas qualifiers, there were a couple of players that did not partake. If you heard initially, if you heard the listing of names there, Clem did qualify for the closed qualifier. Clem did qualify, but Clem forfeited. Apparently, Clem, he recently announced that unfortunately he won't be available at the time of the offline event. It happened after the qualifiers, but basically a couple of days ago, Clem, he found out that he wouldn't be available. So because he won't be available for the offline event for his personal reasons, I'm not too sure what, he didn't go into detail, but because Clem won't be available, Clem did forfeit his closed qualifier spot. So yesterday we had a last chance qualifier, basically who gets Clem's spot, and Geralt, the Polish Protoss player, he claimed that spot for himself. But that is why Clem won't be a part of this. Unfortunately, I guess the scheduling is not lining up ideally for Clem, so he won't be a part of it. There are also 2 other players that did not partake in the qualifiers, or I say 2, 3. Serral, Lambo, and Hero Marine. They did not take part in the open qualifiers. A lot of people, myself included, theorize that Serral's probably just taking a break. I'm pretty sure Serral, he's taking a break in the lead up post IEM Katowice. I mean, he won IEM. And before DreamHack Dallas. DreamHack Dallas is coming up in a couple of months, in 2 months. So I think Serral himself said that he was going to be taking a break, and he's focusing on his military service that he has to partake in as well. Serral, he did post recently that he is going to be a part of DreamHack, or he's going to do his best to be a part of DreamHack Dallas, and he's going to do his best to be a part of Gamers 8. So I'm pretty sure because of the military service, Serral, he's just prioritizing, picking and choosing some like select events to be a part of, and I don't think that StarsWar 11 is going to be a part of like is going to make the cut for Serral when it comes to the key events that he can partake in, again, because he has to focus on his military service. So Serral won't be a part of this. I don't know the reasoning as to why Lambo and Hero Marine aren't. Maybe they weren't confident. Maybe they themselves wanted to focus on DreamHack Dallas. I'm not certain. I don't think they've said. I don't think they've clarified. But yeah, Lambo and Hero Marine won't be a part of this. But we still have plenty of other amazing players like Rainer and Showtime, Skillus, Spirit, Alaser. We still have the best that Europe has to offer. Missing a couple of key players, but regardless, an amazing lineup nonetheless. Is going to be an amazing lineup. And yeah, with that, we are going to be going on a short break. You can see here, 22 minutes. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we return in 22 minutes, we will be back. Rainer and Shameless, and we end the night with a laser next to his TV. Do we have some other buddies? Hold on. Do we? Why are there so many rabbits around? There's a bunny on the shelf. You can see it on the shelf on top of the TV. There's, I want to say there's like a little bunny like figurine there as well. So, the rabbits, they're everywhere. Why? I don't know. But here we go. We're diving into our first game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss. It is showtime. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player for Team Liquid, Skillus. Also, they don't have audio playing when they show the cams. But regardless, we are diving into this lovely PvP. Again, showtime on Berlin International Gaming, BIG. And a big shout out to the event and the sponsors themselves. For StarsWar 11, we have Team WE, we have New TV, we have Double Esports, SC Boy, Aegon Doyu, and another sponsor in the center. I'm not certain who that sponsor is, but without these lovely sponsors, this event would not be possible, would not be here. We would not have this lovely StarCraft, this lovely tournament. So shout out to the sponsors as we bring all this together, and we are entering 2-gate play. It's going to be 2 gateways here for Showtime, 2 gateways for Skillus. Standard plays so far. Let's go. Let us go. 2-gate openers all around. As we settle on in, we do have our Cybercore follow-up as well. Pretty standard openers, pretty standard builds for the time being between both of our players. We'll see how we deviate, we'll see how we open up once we get into our first units of choice. Just gonna be keeping our eye out. Keeping our eye out on our players here. Again, for now, gateways are finishing up, Cybercores are done, and with this we get into Double Stalker, we can get into Double Adept, we can get into Stalker Sentry. Each pairing of unit does come with its different kind of playstyle here, and it looks like Showtime is faking out Double Stalker as he should be canceling that Zealot, does cancel it, now is going for the Sentry. Okay. So we have a Stalker Sentry Opener out of Showtime. It is a little bit more defensive. It looks like Double Stalker, but wasn't quite. Meanwhile, Skillus actually opening up Double Stalker with a much more aggressive, assertive style, following it up with a Stargate. That is a Stargate before Expand. So Skillus is going to be a bit more aggressive here, with some Oracle aggression, with some Oracle harass. Sorry, it's a little bit loud. There we go. Was a little bit loud there, but yeah, with this we're going to be getting into Oracle production from the side of Skillus. I believe Showtime is yet to confirm and yet to scout. Showtime will have the faster expansion, meanwhile Skillus will have the more aggressive potential, the more harassment. So we have kind of taken our roles here in this game. Additional sentries on the way for Showtime. We do have Hallucination Scout moving out across the map, and the Hallucination should get eyes on the tech itself, and we should get eyes on the Oracle, so Showtime will have time to prepare. Again, this is the power of a sentry-based opener, is that you gain access to hallucinations and you're able to see everything. Speaking of, hallucination does slip in. There we go. Does manage to scout out the tech as well as the first unit of choice. So now Showtime can prepare. Shield battery is on the way, or shield battery should soon be on the way here for Showtime, as he is going to be preparing. Again, just making sure that it is going to be the Oracle. Does also get eyes on the follow-up tech on that Twilight Council. Showtime has a massive lead when it comes to Blink. Oracle moves out across the map, and the Stalkers are in position. Yeah, we shave off those shields. We do manage to get one probe, at least. We got one worker, but the Oracle is forced back. There we go. Behind this, we do see Skillus getting into a second Oracle, so he's just building up his Oracles, getting ready to dive in. Oh, sorry, yeah, second Oracle. Now, with two Oracles, you can one-shot probe, so even if you have a shield battery, even if you have some units in position, we can still get some damage done. We get one probe, we get two. Two probes go down at the natural. Good damage so far. Ooh, as Showtime is setting up a proxy gateway across the map. Remember, Showtime does have that blink advantage. He does have a window where he has blink over his opponent, and he might try to just flex that here on two bases and send it across the map. We shall see. Skillus likewise does come across the proxy. Big scout from Skillus. He will shut it down, or he's trying to. We can see Showtime maneuvering over. He wants to try to save that gateway. Can he though? As the pylon goes down, the gateway is depowered, more Stalkers are arriving, and Showtime is going to try to engage. You can see him moving on the minimap. Yeah, coming in, he does have a Stalker deficit, but he does have force fields. And he has Blink. Yeah, Blink finishes up just in time. But Skillus does take down one of those Stalkers, trading 1 for 1. Does trade 1 for 1. Again, the Blinks were missing there for Showtime, as Oracles are getting across the map. No, the move command! Oh, brutal move coming there from Skillus. A bit of miscontrol, and he will lose out on this fight. He has to pull all the way back. At the same time, the Oracles likewise have to back off as well. Good target firing out of Skillus. Again, we are missing some of our blinks here from Showtime. And we can focus on the sentries instead. Can focus down instead sentries. Oh, we do get another Stalker. Again, good retargeting there by Skillus. Focusing on the Stalker that had already spent its blink. The Oracles did survive. Skillus is getting a third base behind this. And Showtime just now starts his own third. So Skillus has a slight lead when it comes to his third base timing. And he will shut down this gateway. Remember, Showtime was trying his hardest to save it, but he could not. As now Showtime has to deviate away. Working towards now is Forge, now is Robo. Meanwhile, Skillus already has charge on the way. I want to give the edge to Skillus right now. He does have a little bit more momentum going for him. Catches up with his own blink. And can he break through? Safe trap is baited. Oh, it's Showtime. Bappy. Does bait out the stasis. Sold Concave here in favor of Showtime. Does force back the army. So far, so good. Showtime is going to be holding on. Likewise, Oracles are still poised to come in from behind. They're ready to dive into a mineral line. As Showtime attempts to snipe that sentry, but doesn't quite get it. We'll back up. Skill setting up his own proxy pylon. His own proxy gateway. Charge is on the horizon here. So basically, there is a window. There is a timing that Skillus has charge and Showtime doesn't. It's a pretty big window. Can we use it? Can we squeeze through? Or is Showtime going to be able to stabilize on 3 bases? That is the question. And stay strapping set up. Showtime rotating, sorry, Skillus rotating around. Yeah, setting up some stasis traps, setting up some reinforcement points or fallback points. As Showtime is in position with that observer, he does spot the army. He does spot the stasis. We do see Skillus trying to engage. Move command was a little bit brutal there, but he does take down both sentries. Does bring them down. Reinforcements have arrived. Likewise, we have Zealots warping in from behind, actually, from that gateway. Skillus, Zealots are coming in from behind. Instead, they're going for the 4th. Yeah, they're collapsing on the 4th base, and Showtime is being pulled apart. He's down in army supply. He can't defend, and he's forced to cancel. You can see on the minimap there, the 4th base of Showtime was cancelled, and Zealots are breaking into the natural. They try to focus on that shield, but they will not get it. Meanwhile, Skillus, he busts into the main, and probes are going down. You can see Showtime struggling to defend. Does bleed out 5 probes, 9 mining time. More Zealots are being warped in, and Skillus is getting his 4th. His 4th base is getting up and running behind this. So Skillus, he's getting ahead economically. He's crippling the economy of his opponents, and he is amassing a massive army. Skillus is running away with this. And he's coming in from behind. He's trying to. Zealots, they crash into a wall. It is going to be mining time here for Showtime, but we break through that wall. Okay, we shut down these pylons one after the other. We're going for the base. Big stasis trap goes off. GG gets called, and Showtime taps out. Skillus takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very solid game there at Skillus. I am impressed, Papi. I'm very impressed. You can see Skillus sipping on his coffee. He's like, ass. Just another ladder game, you know? Just very little players. I think I would set that above German. Personally, I rate Spirit above Hero Marine. But I guess Lambo and the others are very close. But here we go. We're getting into our game, and we do have Showtime here in the bottom right. And in the top left, we do have Skillus for Team Liquid. Here we go. But I do rate Spirit above Hero Marine. When it comes to Lambo and a Laser, I feel like they're neck and neck. I feel like, I've said this before, I think Lambo and a Laser, they're like 3 and 4, depending on the day, like they're interchangeable. I guess the big one is Showtime. The big one is going to be Showtime there. I think maybe he's the deciding factor where, when it comes to Protoss, where like both countries have good Terrans, really good Terrans, and both countries have really good Zergs. When it comes to Protoss, yeah, I think Showtime definitely has them beat, because Geralt still has some room to grow. Geralt and Christiana, like quantity, they've got all the Protoss, Papi. They've got the quantity of the Protoss, but yeah, they still can't quite compare to Showtime. That's what Poland lacks. They need Geralt to step up, and he has been. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And so far, it's going to be a 2-gate opener out of our players from both Showtime and Skillus. But yeah, I think when it comes to comparing the German pro players and the Polish pro players, I feel like Showtime is the deciding factor there, and does take the cake. But we got, like, really, you know what we need? Really, all this discussion is bring back Nation Wars. Feels bad, man. When can we get Nation Wars once again? Smoge, Papi Smoge. If only. Would love to see Nation Wars return in some capacity. Obviously, O-Gaming is not a thing anymore, but would be amazing if another organizer were able to step up and fill those shoes, to fill the hole that has been left in the scene ever since we have lost Nation Wars. But I do understand it's a lot of work. Like, Nation Wars is like organizing it and hosting it. It's a lot of work, Pappy. It's a lot of work. Here we go. We do have, once again, Skillus opening up 2 gates into the Stargate, into Oracles. So the same build so far as Skillus, 2 games in a row. Meanwhile, Showtime is going for the faster Nexus. So honestly, this is a repeat of game 1. This is game 1 over again so far. Regain, Pappy, regain. We'll see how things do differ, though. We'll see how we can adjust and how Showtime can tighten up here against Skillus. As Hallucination is going to be going in. Once again, Showtime does get eyes on the Stargate and the Oracle. So just like the previous game, Showtime is fully aware of what's coming his way, and he has the opportunity to prepare to minimize his losses, at least initially. We do see Showtime going for the faster Twilight Council, faster Blink. Going for that faster Blink. As Skillus is moving out. It does run into the wall of Stalker. Shield Battery is still not quite done, but it's on the way so far. Good trades, better trades for Showtime. Does get some extra hits in. Stalker's are pulled out of position. The Oracle does not quite make it in, though, as we have 3 Oracles to defend. Oh, they're tickling the Oracle to death. We do get one of the sentries, though. We get 1, we get 2. Good pickup. 2 sentries for the Oracle. The Oracle does survive. Very nicely done. But across the map, Showtime coming in, slipping in here with his Adepts. Threatening a shade towards that main. Doesn't quite make it in, though. We do have a wall. Yeah, the second Oracle does have to stick around back at home. Does focus down at least one of those Adepts. Not quite getting the second. It does shade away. As I say that, Stalkers are in position, and it looks like we can shut it down. And from here, the game is going to be settling. We're going to be calming things down. Oh, Showtime once again with the proxy pylon. Is he going to get found out? Oh! Skillus, he's so close. And he barely does not see it. No, he does! He does see it. Oh my god. The game sense here by Skillus, finding another free pylon. This time it's not a committed pylon, but he does catch it. Yes, this time Showtime, he's not going for a proxy gateway. He's not committing on 2 bases. He's going for a 3rd. Much faster 3rd base this time out of Showtime. Will be extending his economic lead, and will Skillus try to punish this, or will he try to catch up? Well, first he has to scout. First he needs to realize what exactly has been going on. As he's moving out with his Stalkers, will apply a bit of pressure here to the 3rd. And you can see Skillus throwing down his own. So in game 1, Skillus had the faster 3rd base. This time Showtime has the faster 3rd instead. The 3rd is halfway done. Stalkers, they do poke in. Manage to chip away at the base itself. They do get eyes on the progression. Skillus is aware. Forge is on the way. Showtime building up towards the mid game, working on a faster +1. Skillus delayed Forge here. Skillus, he is just half a step behind. 1 step behind that of Showtime. Later upgrade, later 3rd. Skillus does have the slightly larger army, but only slightly, and yeah, with that, he's going to be backing off. Now, Skillus still has 2 Oracles, so he can always wreak havoc in a mineral line. He can one-shot probes. Skillus rotating around, getting behind the army. He's going to threaten the natural. He could go in and pick up a pylon and get the hell out of here. Doesn't quite get it. Gets a probe. Ooh, bleeds out a Stalker. Stalker for a Sentry Oracle. They try to come back in, but 1 Oracle gets sniped. Good pickup out of Showtime. Very nice pickup. Skillus being very annoying, getting a couple of extra probes here in the back line. 7 probes go down. And Skillus even coming out on top of the trade. In that Stalker trade. Again, Blinks have been solid. Skillus going to be forced to back off, though. Has to retreat for a moment. Reinforcing. We have a pylon being set up here to reinforce the front lines. But Skillus, this does feel quite... It is a little bit delayed here. When it comes to his upgrades, going for a big gateway explosion. That's 6 more gates on the way. Charge as well. But Showtime, he held. He has held. Ooh, and he won't quite push out. Showtime, he does not spot this. I do think that Showtime has enough to break this position ahead of time, but again, he doesn't know that there's a proxy gateway, doesn't know where the army is, and it will get up and running. Showtime going for a fourth, so is Skillous. Showtime going for a Dark Shrine even, okay. And we force a cancel on the fourth base, good pick up there by Skillous. And Stalkers are reinforcing. Skillous rotating around. Showtime, can he keep up? Again, as Skillous, he has taken a Stalker lead. The concave still in favor of Showtime. You can see Skillous trying to bait the army into the stasis. Showtime doesn't chase. Again, he's waiting for the Dark Shrine. Now, Skillous does have Observer. Sorry, he does have an Oracle. And there we go. Observer on the way for Showtime, not for Skillous. I believe Skillous doesn't have a Robo. Oh. No Robo from Skillous. These Dark Templar, they can pop up. They can get a lot done. Like, thankfully, we'll have a Revelation with that Oracle, but again, we need more than that. Dark Shrine did finish. Where are the DTs? Where are the Dark Templar? As Skillous, he will be able to deny this southern base. There we go. DTs are on the way. They're welding in towards the natural. And they're going to get a lot of damage done. They're going to wreak havoc. We have Zealots hitting the third base. The Stalkers, they push towards the fourth. Like, Skillous, he's doing well for himself. But that's before the Dark Templar. As they're coming. The DTs are coming. Zealots, you can see they're breaking through the Stalkers. They break through the site defense. There is a cannon at the natural. Oh my god, but no cannon in the main. No cannon in the main base. Stasis Trap does go off. Skillous, he's breaking through. He's breaking through the main army. Getting on top of these Stalkers. Yeah, the fourth base has been broken. GG gets called. The DTs are not good enough, and Skillous will take the 2-0. GG. Oh my god. Bappy. GG, well played. And again, I would say that Skillous and Showtime are comparable in skill, but I was not expecting a 2-0. I was not expecting a 2-0 here. I was expecting this to go to the ace match at least. But no, it ended here and now in the middle of the pack there in the European region. He cheesed the hell out of them. he just aggressed his way through Estrella, through Young Yakov, and Nikic, he pulled off a miracle and he qualified. So you may be thinking, hold up. This is the European and the Americas qualifier. Nikic is a very aggressive player. We'll be getting into it though, because we're diving into our first game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have top left-hand corner of Hardled, Geralt for StarsWar Gaming. And in the bottom right, we have his opponent. We have Nikic for the Platinum Heroes. Here we go. But yeah, Nikic, he thrives in the mid game. We've seen time and time again Nikic suddenly cut workers on 3-base saturation at 50 workers or at 66 even, and cut workers and go for some roach aggression, some Ling Bane to catch his opponent off guard, or even go for a different tech transition as well. So Nikic very much so thrives in the mid game. Geralt, I would say, is similar in a sense, where he also thrives in the mid game, but he thrives when it comes to standard play, defending, surviving, and building up and getting to his own 3 to 4 base setup. Geralt, I feel like, is a much more standard player and has been improving quite a lot over time. Again, there's been some big moments in Geralt's career where he's been able to bring down players like Serral. Again, there's only a handful of players that can say that they've done that. I think that was last year in the regionals for, was that Yongshiping? When Geralt beat Serral? It was either Yongshiping or Atlanta. I think it was Yongshiping, because it was earlier in the year. But yeah, Geralt, he's had his moments. The problem is that they are merely moments, and we need some consistency here out of Geralt. We need to see him achieve these results on a more regular basis to bring down these bigger names and go for these deeper runs in these tournaments. Again, we'll see if he can. For now, we do have our probe just harassing here in the mineral line, posing a bit of a threat to Nikic. Just being an annoyance. We do see Nikic going for a hatch gas pull, forced to take the unnatural natural. So a bit of a more awkward setup here by Nikic, but he does take the forward base. Now I spoke about how Nikic is a very aggressive player. And based on the base that he just took, that is a very aggressive base. It's a little more forward. The reason why I say this is because that is a good launch pad for your creep. Your creep can very quickly, from this third base location, push across the map and set up for a creep highway and set up for a queen base all-in, a roach base all-in on 2 or even 3 bases. That is something that Nikic has available to him, and we'll have to keep an eye on that creep and keep an eye on the saturation of the Zerg player. Meanwhile, Geralt, he's going into his standard opener. It's going to be going for a Stargate into a third base, into Oracle production. Again, I don't expect anything too wild from the side of Geralt. Shout out to Cynical. It was the Atlanta European Regional. Yeah, that's it. I was trying to think. I was like, I know it was last year. I know it was either Young Chipping or Atlanta. It was one of them. So big shout out to Cynical. But yeah, that was a big highlight moment for Geralt last year when he took Cyril down. Very impressive. See, Cynical knows. And shout out to Cynical, by the way. Cynical, he is the godfather of Wikipedia. He has been working and just updating Wikipedia for many years here. He's one of the unsung heroes of the scene. Cynical alongside Kashim, both putting in a lot of work on Wikipedia. If it's a site that you use, you have Cynical to thank. And Kashim. For now, though, Ling's going to be harassing here. They're going to be trying to deal with these adepts. They do recall back home. They do manage to get away. Likewise, Oracle has arrived. So far, good defense here by Nikic, minimizing his losses, but he does not get a kill on either adept. And the third base is now being taken. The adepts, because they recalled, they should be in position to defend said third. As the Oracle does get into that main base, getting 2 drone kills, barely escapes with 1 HP. Oh my god. Barely does escape, did almost overextend, but Geralt barely does escape. Whew. Keeps that Oracle alive. Behind this, we do see Nikic going for going for some droning. Has not moved out with his Lings. Creep is spreading through the center, but right for now, we're at least focusing on resaturating our bases. Nikic droning up as best he can. Overlord is shut down. And Geralt's follow-up is an interesting one. I don't see a Forge. That's a Twilight Council with gateways, but no Forge in production. Oh, there we go. Forge was just a little bit delayed here. Should be plus on a blink. We'll see if we deviate and go into charge instead. We'll keep an eye on Geralt. Meanwhile, the second Oracle does dip in, but we take a lot of hits. We don't get any drone damage. You have to get the hell out of there. The Oracles do survive. Nikic going for a standard timing with his Roach Horn. That was around a 5-minute timing here with Roach Horn. Lair is on the way. So far, nothing looking out of the norm from either player. Yeah, we're just focusing on clearing up this creep. Denying Nikic. Lings, they do come in for us round. They do shut down every single adept. The adepts do fall. But again, we're still just saturating our bases. Plus one melees on the way. Should be Ling Bane Roach Ravager out of Nikic. Likewise, we're getting into plus one Blink Stalkers from Geralt. And we're easing in towards the mid game. We are easing our way towards it. Both players just saturating. We have a wall of gateways on the way, so Geralt, he's securing his third base. Is becoming quite heavily fortified here. And we'll see when Nikic decides to pull the trigger, as he has drone up to 70. That's over 3 base saturation. That's just under 4. And we are going into Hydras. Okay, interesting. So no Bailey Nest. It is going to be Ling Roach straight to Hydras. We have not invested into Roaches either. So Nikic is actually taking up quite quickly here. He's a little bit vulnerable, and Geralt, he could try to abuse that. Yeah, Geralt is pushing in. Lings are here to defend, but only Lings. You do force a recall. Geralt, he does get caught out. The recall is forced. Nikic not forced to make any Roaches, by the way. So he's been preserving his gas quite well. You can see Nikic, he's got 7, now 800 gas in the bank. Storing it, saving it all for the Hydras. The Hydra Den is now done. We have Hydra Speed on the way. Nikic, he could even try to rush into Lurkers. I'm curious if he does. But Nikic, he is a little bit vulnerable right now. There we go. Hydras are now commencing. Lings are across the map. They force Geralt to respond. A big reaction out of Geralt. He races everything back home. And this is buying so much time for Nikic to get into those Hydras. Lings, they threaten a dive. Don't quite get much damage, but again, they force Geralt to stay at home. And Nikic getting so much breathing room. He's been able to run up to 80. 80 workers here. Layer upgrades underway. No infestation bit, bear that in mind. We're not getting into Hive Tech, which is a little bit concerning. We're staying on Lair Tech for now. Massing up Ling Hydra. And again, I do think that Geralt, he's been a little bit afraid of Nikic here. Like, time and time again, even when it's not even that many Lings harassing across the map, we've seen some big reactions out of Geralt. He really hasn't been able to assert himself too much, and he's been giving Nikic so much breathing room. He is trying to push in. Does push forward, stage traps being set up. Geralt, I mean, he's trading well, is what I will say. He's shaving off a lot of Lings here. Pushing in towards that fourth base, or towards the third. Zealots have arrived. Charge is not quite done, but we might not need it. We might not need charge as we are getting on top of the base, and we are one volley away. We do get a snipe. The base does fall. Slow and steady here from Geralt, just slowly chipping away, out trading the Zerg army. Takes down the base, and we can keep pushing. Yeah, that's another cancel. As we're encroaching upon the natural. And Nikic, he's in a bit of trouble right now. He's supply blocked. No! Oh, now is not the time. Big supply block for Nikic. He can't spend his money. He cannot spend his money. We have 2 overlords on the way. Geralt, now is it? We gotta keep pushing. Now is the time. Nikic waiting for his overlords. As a result, Geralt, he's getting ahead in supply. Is pushing ahead. Do have a handful of Banelings. Forcing back the army. But again, Geralt, he can take this. Yeah, better engaged, better concave. Nikic finally does break free from that supply block, but and he desperately needs more time. And remember, there's no Hive. Nikic, he's stuck on 2-2. No Adrenal, no 3-3, no Lurkers, no Vipers. Limited tech here for Nikic. And this is kind of what I spoke about when I was referring to Nikic, how he thrives in the mid game, but this is not working against him. Again, the lack of additional tech does mean that his army is being outscaled. Because Geralt, he's now working on splash damage, whether it's Storm, Disruptors, or as we can see here, Colossi. They're all amazing against Lingbane Hydra. And they should force out Lurkers, but we have none. Yeah, Zealot run by say deny both bases. The double expand fails. We deny the 5th and the 6th. We get on top of the center base. The 5th is under fire. The 4th is under fire even. Nikic trying to hold on. And the hatchery taking a lot of damage. Colossi are on the way. And there's no answer. The problem is that once the Colossi are alive, I spoke about how whether it's Lurkers or even Vipers, right? Vipers would be amazing in this position to yoink those Colossi or to Blinding Cloud the Stalkers. But we have none. And Geralt, he's maxed out. And we're just waiting for the Colossi to arrive. Waiting for that moment where Geralt can pop off. Nikic still just trying to rebuild. I mean, he could try to go first around. He's going for it. Nikic, can we collapse on the army? Stage trap going to be going off. Colossi looking a bit exposed, but they do pull back. Yeah, good kiting here from Geralt. Does pull back. 1 Colossi going to be going down. And we barely get the 2nd, but we have a 3rd and a 4th behind this. And Nikic, this is all he had. It's all he had left. And he bleeds out all of his Lingbane, all the Hydras as well. We blink on forward, we chase this down, and Nikic, he's in a lot of trouble. At the same time, Zealot Runby keeps the reinforcements busy. The 4th base is going to fall, and Nikic, he's knocked down to 3. And again, Nikic, he's just run out of steam. He's just been outscaled this game. Stuck on their tech. And Ling Hydra can do okay early on, but very quickly you need to go further than that. Oh, now we have Storm on the way. We don't even need the Storm, but may as well. Geralt just securing himself. Honestly, from here, Geralt could do whatever he wants. He could go into Sky Toss, right? Fleet Beacon, second Stargate, third Stargate, +1 air attack. We could rush into Sky Toss. We could just throw down 2 more Robos and double down on Robo production. We're going for Storm, +3, second Forge. Like, Geralt, he's in full control right now. Like, he's looking good. Looking comfortable. Looking comfortable as else. They catch some of these Hydras. Hydra's going to be going down. The center base force as well. As Nikic, he needs a 4 desperately. Bailings, they connect. Bailings, they do connect. They do shut down these Colossi. A nice trade there from Nikic. But the reality is that he's down to 62 workers. The reality is he just doesn't have an economy. Barely has an army. Like, Geralt is taking this, like, slow and steady, and he is being picked apart a little bit here as another Colossi goes down, but the Zealots, they wreak havoc in the mineral line. 19 drones go down. The Stalkers, they're reinforcing. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Geralt takes game number 1. GG. Again, a pretty solid game there. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Geralt for Sidestorm Gaming. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have we have Nikic for the Platinum Heroes. Here we go. As we are settling in. And so far, Nikic, once again, going for a Hatch Gas pull, is forced to take the unnatural natural as the probe is patrolling. So forcing a more uncomfortable start here from Nikic, as he does get that natural base, or does get his expansion up. And again, we're loading into Alcyone. So I briefly did mention that this is a very large map. There's a lot of bases to be taken on Alcyone. The rush distance by ground isn't too long. It's actually shorter than some of the other maps in the map pool. But it's very defendable. Very defendable here on 3, 4, and 5 bases. I do want to favor Geralt here on this map. And even if Nikic is more aggressive here, it's going to be difficult to pull off. Not impossible, but difficult. The map is going to be working against Nikic, but there are things you can do to help yourself out here. The gold base, for example. Not unheard of for Zerg players to rush into that gold as their third base or even their natural base as well. We have seen that time and time again. As we can see here, Nikic doesn't go for the gold, at least as his natural, but that's going to be an option available to him later on. Based on his expansion pattern, though, I don't think he's taking it as his third, so you know, the gold may not come into play. So my eyes here in game 2, I feel like they have to be on Nikic. After game 1, like, we need to vary things up. We need to adjust here to Geralt. We need to get more comfortable. We'll see if Nikic can pull that off. As Geralt, honestly, as he loses his probe, Geralt just has to play it as a game. He just has to play out his game. Like, he's going for the Stargate into Oracle into a third base. Standard play so far to Geralt. Doesn't have to deviate, doesn't have to mix it up. And we can just approach this like any other, like game 1, then Geralt is poised to take it. We'll see. We shall see. As for now, we're just settling into our game. We have our gateways on the way. Stargate's about to finish. Should be for an Oracle. We could see Geralt spice things up and go Void Ray first. We have seen that out of Geralt in the past. But as I mentioned, I don't think we need to, is the thing. So it's a risk that we don't need to take, but we'll see if we go for it. As there we go, it is going to be the Oracle first. Is going to be the Oracle first here. Behind this, Adept's going to be threatening that third base. Oracle's going to be moving out. For now, Nikic is droning. No big gas commitment. You can see that Nikic has pulled out of gas. So no fast lair. No Bane Bust. No Roach Rush. And Geralt confirms that. So he should be feeling pretty safe. Should be feeling pretty good about this. Oracle moves out. Is spotted by the Overlord. Queens are getting in position. Good defense so far. Again, we saw this in the last game, right? Where Nikic honestly didn't lose too many drones to the harass. Nikic didn't lose much at all to the Oracles. And likewise, he's doing the same. Adepts, they do get a couple of workers here in the mineral line. Ooh. 2 drones for 1 Adept. At least Geralt keeps 1 Adept alive. Second Oracle comes in for the Stasis Trap into the third. Oh, and it looks like it is going to get triggered. Oh, big connection. No, as we catch 3 queens and the drones as well. Nikic, he was reacting, but again, he stumbled a little bit too close. Flew too close to the sun. And Nikic gets burned. Ay, that should not have happened. As Nikic was paying attention, he was looking. And with that, Geralt, he has a pretty good position so far. Dealing economic damage, he supply blocks Nikic for a moment. And from here, Geralt is getting into his Forge and his Twilight Council. +1 on Blink on the horizon here for Geralt. He's working on that next step. Meanwhile, Nikic, he throws down his Roach Warren, working towards his lair. So far, pretty standard play out of Nikic once again. Nothing really ringing alarm bells. We're droning, taking gases. We'll see if Nikic cuts workers at 3 bases, which is 66 drones. Which would be 66 drones. As of for now, the queens, they do maintain each other. The rocks are being knocked down. 4th base has been spotted, and Geralt is going right for that 4th. Behind this, we can see +1 melee is on the way, so it looks like Ling Bane Roach Ravager once again. Or it looks like that kind of setup. Last game, Nikic did try to go into Hydras, but wasn't quite able to really get things going there. As the base is under fire. Good trigger there from Nikic. Baiting out the Stasis. Does collapse on top of the Adepts. The 4th base is taking a lot of hits. Can we force a cancel? Nah, we shouldn't be able to. Geralt, Nikic, he should be able to hold on here as he pushes forward with those queens. Maybe overextending with the queens a little bit. Geralt, he's the one to go for the gold. At the start of the game, I was talking about like, yo, you know, the Zerg player can take the gold base as their 3rd or their 4th. Really, Geralt, he heard that and he just takes it himself. And that is dangerous. A Protoss player with the gold when the Zerg player doesn't is a scary thing. As Geralt is ahead in the economy. But we do have a big Ling run by. Ooh, Geralt doing his best hero impression. The wall was not a wall. The Lings, they bust into the main base, they bust into the natural, and so far we are getting some probe kills, but not too many. Good reaction out of Geralt. Yeah, the whole position Lings in the mineral line, they're not going to do much. Probes are not falling. Oh my god. This should have done more damage. The Lings are being cleaned up, and we get maybe 1 probe? No shot. There we go. Finally, we're getting damage done. We bust into the gold base. Probes are finally falling. The gold base is being punished somewhat. But Geralt, I would say, is still in a good position. Lings, they try to break through. They force a cancel. But they are trapped, and all these things are going to be going down. A big loss here for Nikic. Oh, that's going to be a lot of dead Lings. We did kill 13 probes, but I'm afraid to look at how many Lings have fallen this game. Because that was a lot of Lings at the 4th base and in the main. More Lings are amassing. Nikic getting into Roach production. He's still only on 58 drones. Very low drone count for Nikic. And he's working towards a hive. Lings, they do collapse here on top of the wall. They're going for the Cybercore. Cybercore is going to go down at the same time. Geralt, he's committing across the map. is pushing out. And what is there at home to defend? Only roaches. It's not going to be good enough. Geralt, he's snowballing out of control, breaking through all these roaches. A very efficient trade from Geralt. Yeah, he aggressively blinks on forward. The offensive blink on the army. We do have reinforcements on the way. Can Nikic barely hold on? Oh, it's going to be close. He's forcing the army back. Oh no, there's no anti-air. The queens went down. Not like this. The queen card was reset and drones are going down at that base. Yeah, Zealots and Oracles. They go to town and the hatchery is going to be sniped. That's a kill on the third. And we might get a kill on the fourth. Not quite. Oracles are good, but they're not that good. Geralt's coming back in. Nikic, not too far behind. He's going to be able to keep up. Stasis Trap is about to run out. Oh. Does trigger on the Lings. Good connection. Good stasis. Zealous, they reinforce. They take down the fourth base. We're down to 3 bases left for Nikic. He's being pulled apart, and Geralt is running away with this. Yeah, Zealous all over the place, and they can trade so well. What are we missing? Banelings. Without Banelings, or without a massive amount of Roach Ravager, then these Zealots, they just go to town. The mass charge loss, they're popping off. We get on top of the roaches. GG gets called. Geralt, he snowballs out of control. A cheeky smile out of him as well. And Geralt will take the series 2-0. Pretty solid performance. A pretty solid performance there. He's up against one of the best. This is not going to be into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player Raynor for Basilisk. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss, Shameless for Little Fairy. Here we go. Again, Shameless, he has been improving quite a lot over the past 6 months, is what I will say. Where he's always been like kind of a low GM player for a couple of years, but over the past 6 months, he's really popped off and really come into his own. And it's been really impressive and really exciting to see Shameless take down bigger and bigger names, get better and better results. Like, for example, like taking down Kelazur, which is not an easy feat. But now he's up against literally one of the best. This is the sad thing here. It's a little bit unfortunate. Just for some context here, as of late, Shameless has been bringing down players like Baby Marine, Kelazur, Mindo VK, Fiant, Forjumi, Spazzy, Akeron, as we mentioned. Art, Nikaract, again, some like pretty big names that I'm sure many people, Young Yakov, sure many people are familiar with these players, with these names, but again, they still pale in comparison to players like Raynor and Serral and Showtime and Skillus. You know, now that Shameless has made it to this stage of the tournament, this is where the big names are. This is where the heavy hitters are lying in wait. This is where Shameless, his skills are going to be tested. Oh boy, here we go. So for now, we do see Raynor going for a Hatchgas Pool standard opener out of our Zerg player. Shameless going for a Gate Expand into Cybercore. So far, nothing spicy yet. When it comes to Shameless's PVZ, I have seen him whip out Skytoss from time to time. I've seen him be aggressive with charge ult timings and charge ult builds in the mid game. But now it is going to be the Stargate opener. Stargate to begin with, into Oracle, into a third. From there, we can go into Charge or Blink. We'll see. We shall see. As for now, we are settling in. As we do have our adepts shading across, we shouldn't be committing. Again, it's very imperative here that we keep these adepts alive, keep them safe. Keep them sound. For those who are curious, so these two adepts, they can one-shot workers, but if these adepts go down, then that will trigger a counterattack. That does suddenly mean that the third base of Shameless is going to be vulnerable, and Raynor can go for a massive counterattack. So we have to be very careful with those initial adepts. There we go. We do have the adepts. Oh, they do get caught out. They get 2 drone kills, but that is not worth it. The adepts go down, and instantly Raynor, he's going for that counterattack that we spoke about. He's going for the third base. First Oracle is across the map, and Shameless, does he have anything to protect that third? No, there's nothing here. The Lings, they do get on top of the Nexus. Oracle's wreaking havoc. We do get 4 or 5 drone kills. Not bad. But we cancel the third, and that matters more. Again, the third base did fall because of those adepts going down. So that was a brutal loss for Shameless. And now he's stuck on 2 bases. Ooh, and we get a kill on another probe. We delay the third even further. But it looks like finally, with the help of these 2 oracles, we should expand. Finally, Shameless can take his third, but it's so heavily delayed. Behind this, we have a couple gateways with the Twilight Council. No Forge. No Forge, by the way, for Shameless. This could be either Glaive Adepts, or we could even invest into Charge. Whatever this is going to be, it's going to be committed. It's going to be committed here for Shameless. There it is. Glaives. Glaive Adepts are on the way. Again, because there's no Forge, it screams Glaive Adepts here for our Protoss player. Oh. As it looks like we have a little bit of latency with the clean feed, but we should be okay soon. No, have we lost them? Have we lost? No. No! Have we lost the clean feed? Come back to us, Papi. Come back. Hold on. Hold on here. As for those who are unfamiliar, I'm not in the game right now. All the casters do get a clean feed from the production team. And no, we've the stream died. No. I see Indy talking. Yeah. So it's ourselves, it's Indy, it's I think Rotterdam as well. We have lost connection to the clean feed. Not like this. I'm just quickly trying to double check here if there's something else up. YouTube is down. Twitch is. Okay, there we go. It looks like we're back. Oh god, I do apologize for the technical issues here. I do apologize, but it looks like we have come back. And speaking of Glaive Adepts, they've arrived. Glaive Adepts, they do get across the map here. They're trying to break through, but Raynor, he has plenty of queens in position. He is able to force this back. Yeah, stage trap goes off. Big stasis here on the queens. Oh my god. Big stasis on the queens. Adepts are being forced back. They don't quite break through. You can see that Shameless is trying to recover economically. He's actually transitioning into +1 Blink and Immortal production. Looks like the Glaives haven't dealt too much damage, but they have at least retained themselves. We keep the Adepts alive. We did not overcommit with them. We did not throw them away. The Adepts, they do keep us alive for now, but the creep is getting out of hand. Hard Lead has a short rush distance by ground. Doesn't take too long at all. We missed the active tumor. No! Revelation does miss the tumor. And Raynor's creep will continue. Will continue as Raynor, he's just settling on into Mass Roach. We have +1 range on the way, Roach speed as well. Roach speed as well. Shameless is just trying to build up towards his eventual Immortal push. But you can see that Raynor's almost maxed out. Like, again, because of the earlier advantage, because of the delayed third base, Raynor, his economy has been snowballing out of control. And with that, he is maxed. Doesn't have the most efficient army with Roach Ravager, but an army nonetheless. And Raynor, he can trade and rebuild. That should be the plan here. Army pushing forward. Only 2 Ravagers. Banelings are thrown down. Sorry, Banelings? Force fields are thrown down, but we just have too much. We have overwhelmed the army. We dive on top of it. And Shameless, he gets completely swallowed up. The Vials, they don't quite connect, but there's not much to connect with. Yeah, we're going for a warp in. A handful of Stalkers left remaining. An Immortal is saved, but the rest of the army gets completely shut down. And now Raynor from here can keep on pushing towards the 3rd base. GG gets called. Shameless has nothing left, and Raynor will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, I do apologize for the disrupted game there, how we did lose connection to the clean feed, or the clean feed lost connection to us. Unfortunately, it did affect all the streams as the clean feed went down for everyone. Feels bad, man, but nothing you can do. I know. It's out of our control. But here we go. We're getting into game 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, Raynor, for Basilisk. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss. It is Shameless for Team Little Fairy. Here we go. Again, Shameless, part of the next generation of, I guess, pro gamers that we have here in StarCraft. He's basically a wave of the players that popped up during COVID. That was like Christiana, for example, Geralt as well. They all kind of rose up around 2020 in the later half of Legacy of the Void. Shameless is likewise one of them. Just recently, you know, hitting his stride. You know, like players like Fiant, for example. Fiant, Shameless, Battle B, Arrowfire for Jumi. These young kids. Ay. What's another one? I think Ashbringer? I know there's one of them that's quite young as well. A Baby Marine, that's another one. But for now, just get settling into this. It's going to be a Hatchgas full standard opener out of Raynor. Nothing too fancy. Oh, Esther, Night Phoenix, where have you been? Shake your head, Night Phoenix. Good to see you. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in these events, in Sparkling Tuna Cup or these qualifiers. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is okay. Hope you're taking care. Quack, puppy, quack. Night Phoenix is another one. The Ukrainian Protoss, also rising through the ranks relatively recently, as of recent years. And we are going to be settling into our game as nothing too fancy, just gate expand into Cybercore, standard open out of Shameless. Only 2 prize places. I'm not playing. Smurge, puppy Smurge. Okay. Fair enough. Esther Night Phoenix. As we do have Raynor actually investing into additional Lings. We do have a handful of Lings on the way from Raynor. He's going to be taking these adepts seriously. Going to have enough to shut this down once the adepts do get across the map. It's just going to be 8 Lings. From here, we should be droning. There we go. Going to be droning up. And hopefully Shameless can retain these adepts. We spoke about it at the time, but we saw in game 1, as soon as Shameless lost both of his adepts, that was almost the beginning of the end. Speaking of, we catch an adept already! Not like this. Adept is going to be chased down. We don't get any drone kills. Good defense there by Raynor. And Shameless down to 1. And Raynor, he has potential to be active once again. To move out once speed kicks in. As the Adept shades in. Gets surrounded. We do not get the drone. Both Adepts fall. And Shameless, he might be stuck on 2 bases. Lings are moving out for a big counterattack. 3rd base is on the horizon, and Raynor, he's going to be here to stop it. We have the juice box. Let's go. The signature Shameless juice box. Yeah, the Lings are here. The Oracle forced to spend its energy. Forced to defend. Forced to defend as we ignore that probe. We go straight for the Adept. Adept gets surrounded. It's going to be going down. We get that probe as well. Really good damage dealt here by Raynor. He doesn't delay the third base, but that's 3 dead adepts, a probe, and soon to be a pylon. Barely doesn't get it. Once again, the second Oracle forces to spend its energy defensively, which means we have that much less energy to use to harass across the map. So Raynor's in a pretty good position here. He's got a Spore at the natural. We have 3 queens at the third. Plenty of queens here at the third base, and so far the oracles, they do not break in. Behind this, it's going to be our Forge and Twilight Council. Looks like +1 and Blink on the horizon. This time we're not going for Glaive Adepts. There's no need to. Ooh. As the oracles, they take a lot of hits. Raynor doesn't sustain any damage there at the natural. Third base, likewise, Raynor's in position. Pulls away in time. No, the Oracle, as we intercept the Oracles and one does go down, Adepts, they get caught out as well by the Lings. Again, a very active style here out of Raynor, and he's just picking Shameless apart. Finally, one drone goes down. One drone falls to the Adept, but that was not worth it. And with that, Raynor, he's just happily saturating his bases, getting into his lair, working towards his Roach Warren, looking quite comfortable. Looking very comfortable here. The Oracles, they get a couple of drones. They get a couple of workers here at the natural. But again, this has still not been quite worth it. And we have our answer. I assume it's going to be +1 and Blink. It is +1 and Blink, but we're working towards the Immortal production, towards Archons as well, with the Robo and the Templar Archives. Shameless taking up. Meanwhile, Raynor, he's running up to 80. Jesus. He's running up to 81 already here. Raynor, he's hit that ideal drone count, and soon it's going to be time to max out. Soon it's going to be time for Raynor to just stop making nothing but Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. And that time is here. It's here. It's now. Roach is on the way. Lings are amassing. The hatchery in production. Because of the aggression, the early harassment being shut down by Shameless, he has nothing to really threaten his opponent. He has no presence on the map. So Raynor has a lot of freedom. He has a lot of freedom right now to do whatever he wants. He isn't being aggressed upon, isn't being applied any pressure. Storm is now on the way for Shameless. And it is scouted. Raynor, he does spot the Storm. And we saw this during, we saw this yesterday during Raynor versus Max Pax in the ESL Opening Up Europe, where Max Pax played a very similar style, where he rushed into Storm, but Raynor was able to break Max Pax before Storm could finish on this very map, by the way, on Oceanborn. We'll see if Raynor can do it again. Okay, we have 3 High Templar. Now a 4th. Storm is seconds away from finishing. Roaches, they come in from one end. They're dragging the army out of position. Lings, they flood in. The wall is not a wall. Lings, they bust into the natural. They bust into the main base as well. Storm has completed. You get a Storm here at the natural base with 17 probes go down. If I say 17, even more than that. We get the Robo. 27 workers. Roach is pushing towards the 4th base as well. And Shameless, he just cannot keep up. We go for the Forge. +2 is going to be denied as we get a kill. And even though Shameless, he's going to eventually clean this up, he will survive. Is he really living? We contaminate the Stargate. We didn't even need to. Well, we get the contamination going as well. We deny the Void Ray production. And Raynor, he's building up for a second wave, building up for a second round. And Shameless, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble right now. As Raynor is going to be pushing the Robos, have to be rebuilt. Banelings are on the way. And Raynor, he's maxed out. He has maxed out. Shameless trying to hold on. He's got a couple of Stalkers, got a couple of Zealots. He has Storms available. That's his saving grace. If we can connect with like the best Storms out there, we can maybe force back the army. We can force it back, but we can't really counterattack. That's the problem here. We don't have enough. Good splits by Raynor. Oh my god. Yeah, Storms, they are going to be spent. We avoid most of them. We collapse on the army. No more Storms remaining here for Shameless. As Raynor is snowballing out of control. Even the Queens arrive. They walk across the map. Overcharge gets focused down. No more shield battery. And Raynor, he has broken the back of Shameless. There's only a handful of Stalkers left. The fourth base, there's no mining whatsoever. No saturation. And Shameless, he did survive the second wave once again, but there it is. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall. Shameless even chuckling to himself towards the end there. Again, up against one of the best in Europe, and Raynor. Not a single game played on it so far, but now we're going to be embracing it here in game number 2. Regardless of how this series goes, we will at least get game 2, and we will be able to dive into some Solaris. Do look forward to it. But outside of that, interesting map picks here. Vetoes are pretty standard from the side of Spirit. Likewise, Vetoes, Side Delta, Hard Lead, and Hegate from Laser. Some of these smaller maps have been gotten rid of, and now we're getting into game number 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our Polish Zerg player, a Laser, for Team Liquid. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Terran. It is Spirit for Navi. Here we go. We have our ZVT, and this is primed to be the best match of the night, to be honest. I mean, I say that. If you were here earlier, Firefly versus Cyan was amazing. It was a lot of fun. It was very back and forth. I did appreciate Cyan versus Firefly. And a lot of these other games have been quite good as well. But I mentioned it before, I'm hoping for something more back and forth. It's been 2 0s across the board. Give us a game 3. But it's on our players here, as Spirit is going CC first, as to be expected. This is a very, Spirit loves going CC first whenever he can. True, he does enjoy it. But specifically on Alkyone, this is one of the safer maps to do it on. Just because, again, the map itself is quite large. It's a lot more macro-oriented. The chances of your opponent punishing this is quite low on Alkyone. So we've seen a lot of greedy builds. We've seen a lot of CC first. We've even seen a lot of third CC before factory. That is not unheard of. We've seen Bjorn do it. We've seen Maru do it. It's a great effect. I'm pretty sure we've seen Spirit, he's even gone like 4 CC before factory. That was on Radisson Station against Solar at IM Katowice. So again, Spirit, he's more than willing to embrace the greed. That's just how he be. He's a greedy boy, Bobby. He's a greedy boy. So we'll see where that greed does end, as the Rax is now done. CC underway. I'm keeping my eye out for a third CC as well, as Spirit is going to be building up towards it, getting to his double orbital. Reaper's moving out, and it's going to be factory. Yeah, it's going to be a factory on the way from Spirit. So just a CC first into a 1-1 setup, and he should be able to get away with this. Meanwhile, back at home, a Laser going for a hatch gas pull into a third base. Nothing wild from a Laser. Pretty standard build so far. And we're settling on in. Again, a Laser and Spirit, they are the 2 best players in all of Poland. They do go back and forth. In general, I would rate Spirit a little bit higher, but that could just be a bit of more almost recency bias from their performances in offline events or in the regional Polish events. In general, though, they do go back and forth, and I'm hoping for an ace match, regardless of how this turns out. We do see Spirit going for a third CC before Starport, so again, economic follow-up. Starport is on the way. From here, we can go for an add-on swap. From here, we can make this tech lab on the racks. There it is, tech lab is on the racks, which means we are poised for an add-on swap for some Banshee production. So 3C into Banshee play. Very safe way to open up, very safe way to play here from Spirit. At least it does look to be the case. Let's see if we do embrace it. We shall see. As until then, we're just going to be calming things down. We're just easing things up. We do see Spirit getting into his Hellion production. Again, it's going to be Hellion Banshee. We have confirmation there's Yadon swap. Banshees are on the way. Cloak is being researched. Nothing too crazy. The purpose of this build, the reason why it's safe is because if a laser was going into a fast Roach Warren that was hidden, then the Banshees come out just in time to shut down the Roaches, to clean them up, and then to counterattack. They also give you scouting information, and they force the Queens to respond and react to them, and they can create an opening for the Hellions to likewise get into a mineral line and do some economic damage. So in general, just a really safe way to open up and to get away with your fast third base. Meanwhile, we do see a laser just droning. Looks like he has accurately read what has been going on, and as I say that, yeah, the Overlord does confirm, and we are going lair first. It's going to be a lair first here from a laser. I don't know if you saw, but he actually started an Evo chamber, and he cancelled the Evo chamber. The reasoning for that, I'm pretty sure, is just so we can get some mobile detection. Spores are on the way, yes, but an Overseer would be ideal, just so we can keep up with the Banshee. So it is going to be a lair first. We should be seeing a Baneling Nest momentarily before the Evo chambers. The reasoning for that is that once we get into the lair, and there's that Baneling Nest, is that when the lair finishes, the Baneling Nest is lined up with it. It's lined up to complete with the lair, and then we can start up Baneling speed as soon as possible. So we're getting to fast Baneling speed. The downside of this opener, the downside of this build for a laser, is he has late Evo chambers and late upgrades. So the Terran will be ahead in upgrades. But again, I'm pretty sure the reasoning for this is just to be safe against the Banshee, and just safe in general. As you can see there, now we have the Evo chambers on the way. Gonna be delayed. Hellions are poking in on the right. We have the Banshees coming in towards the left. But Queens are in position. Plenty of Queens in position here for a laser. Is ready. Is ready to receive. You have 4 Queens here. They force back those Banshees. And Laser, he's double expanding. Or I say double expanding. He's getting a macro hash alongside his 4th. NG baits are on the way. This is a bit of a misstep there. As they just pointed out, as the observer just pointed out, 1-1 has been forgotten. The engineering baits were actually faster, much faster than the Evo chambers of a Laser. 1-1 should have already started up, should be well underway, and we have not started. Now we just do, and we had the money for it as well. So Spirit, that was a bit of an oversight from the Terran. That means that even though a Laser did go for delayed Evo chambers, his upgrades are comparable to that of Spirit, which should not have happened, and that is a nice win for a Laser. Meanwhile, Spirit pushing on the right hand side. We do see the gold base being taken, and Spirit, he's going to try and punish that gold and force a cancel, and he should be able to. Again, there's no creep here. It's very vulnerable, very exposed. Yeah, the tanks do arrive, and we should force a cancel. Lings are trying to dive in. Getting good target firing on the Banelings. Good splits here by Spirit. Yeah, 1 tank goes down, but the Marines are having the way with these Lings. This was not the fight to take. A Laser bleeding out too much. Again, a Laser overcommitted to trying to save a base that was not going to live. Hellbats are morphed in. We have Queens to defend. A couple of Banelings. Spirit, can he break through? Lings are being shaved off, but the Banelings, they get in. The tank goes down, and a Laser he has held. But again, that was not a good trade, and you can see a Laser plummet in supply. Spirit has momentum. He has momentum on his side. He's reinforcing here on the right-hand side as well. There's barely any creep. 4th base is on the way. Spirit is not all in. 1-1 is about to kick in here for a Laser. That will help. He will have the upgrade lead. An upgrade lead that I'm sure he wasn't even expecting. As you can see, Spirit does not want to back off. He smells blood in the water. Banelings, they just now start up. We still have plenty though to defend. Marines, they get into the mineral line. They get a couple of drones. Baiting out the Ling Bane. Likewise. Oh, the Queen is brought forward as well. We get one, we get two. Two Queens go down. Ling Bane trying to collapse on this army. They do get on top of the tank. Good volleys going off. We get the borrowed Bailings. A very nice trade here from Spirit. Oh my god. Not good for the Bailings. Trading one Marine for one Bailing. Over and over again there. And a laser he's barely holding. He's barely holding on. He's barely surviving. You can see supply in favor of Spirit. Gets into middle line once again. Going for the drones. Does force the borrow. As we jump into the main. Did force that borrow. We do dive on the Queen. Yeah, again, a laser. He is struggling to hold on here. He's being pulled apart. It's just becoming too much. Yeah, the Spore is sniped. We got 6 more drones. Spirit trying to live. Oh, once again, we have forgotten 2-2. Late 1-1, late 2-2 here from Spirit. He has the armory. Once again, 2-2 could have been well underway. And hopefully we started soon. I mean, I say that. Spirit doesn't really have any resources banked up for it. There it is. +2 attack just started. But Spirit, he's just been hyper fixated on just building up his tank and marine count and ending the game. Which means 2-2 kind of fell by the wayside. Good trade here by Spirit. This is not a fight for the Zerg. Bailing's crashing in. We do get eyes on the planetary. Planetary not done yet. We get a full medevac. We get 2. Oh my god. A laser. Very big ups here. Gets 2 full medevacs. And a laser. He's bouncing back. He's still in this. Gets 2 medevacs. Gets a base. Gets a CC. The drops are forced back. And the laser, I wouldn't say that he's ahead or that he's in a good position, but he's living. He's surviving. He's looking to stabilize. A laser, he's down to 62 drones, a very low worker count for a laser. Oof. And he needs to re-drone. It's hard though because again, because of how aggressive Spirit has been, he's been forced to just rebuild Ling Bane, just non-stop Ling Bane. But he needs to find time to drone, and there it is, 11 drones now on the way. He is recovering. But as the laser is recovering, Spirit is getting ready for his push. Spirit, he's happily already on 83 SCVs, plus mules. He's turtling. God damn it. I don't think Spirit needs to, but yeah, he's going to be turtling up instead. He's investing into turrets, sensor towers, planetaries, more CCs. Spirit, he's turtling up instead. So we're in for a longer one. We are in for a longer game. As a laser is going to be allowed to remax, and there we go. He's run up to 92 from 60. Gotten up to 92 workers, 91 even. Now a laser has a decent worker count here and a decent economy. A laser can now sustain himself. Spirit, he's walling up. Go base being taken. Nice scan there, reveals those barred Bailings. And basically, Spirit, he's just building up towards Ghost Mech, essentially. Ghosts alongside Liberators and tanks. The ideal late game Terran composition. We're getting there. Meanwhile, Laser stuck with Ling Bane Hydra, which isn't bad. It's not the worst composition out there. Is with Ling Bane Hydra. Hive is now on the way. Infestors as well. Spirit does finish up 2-2. Hopefully we can start up 3-3 soon as well. There it is. Speaking of, 3-3 on the way. At least one of those upgrades on the way. Well, we'll get the other. We'll get there. striking round. There we go. +3 armor now on the way for Spirit. Is now on the way. He's throwing down 3 more CCs. Oh my god. That is a curious. That is for orbitals. For orbitals, planetaries, nukes are on the way. Second Ghost Academy for another nuke. We have advanced ballistics, which is liberated range. Likewise, a laser also engulfing the rest of the map in creep and bases. Spirit is going to be able to find some damage. He does catch a couple of queens and he gets a mineral line, or gets 5 drones. Forcing a laser to respond. Does force him back. And yeah, the game has taken a much more passive approach here. Ever since Spirit decided to just wall up, he's just been chilling, building up, fortifying himself, going for some drop play at least, being somewhat active. Meanwhile, a laser has been able to resaturate himself. A solid mineral bank there for a laser. Oh my god, 6k minerals. Hey, that's a lot of minerals. Again, due to the high drone counts. So you drop across the map, he's going to get shut down. Does get caught by the spore. There it is. We're going for the nuke play. We have 1 nuke here towards the 3rd base. Not the most saturation. And there we go. Laser. It does respond in time. Does pull away. Nuke connects, but doesn't really get much done. As we get a nuke into the main. That's a lot of larva. That's a lot of larva here that's being threatened. Or can we stop the nuke? Oh, we can. We just barely do. The ghost does get caught out. A laser, he's holding. He's maintaining himself. The nuke play is going to be continuing here by Spirit. Liberator gets shut down. And again, the problem here is that Spirit, he isn't really going for any kind of split pushes. He isn't trying to pull apart the attention of a laser. But here we go. A laser has had enough. Not going to take a line down, going for his own Nidus Worm across the map. Ghost drop, or Ghost actually being sent towards the main. We're trying to snipe that Overseer, and we won't be able to. Does get away. Another nuke across the map. The first Nidus is denied. We have another Nidus towards the north, just outside the bases of Spirit. Spirit chasing down that Overseer. So we managed to get the nuke going. There we go. Another nuke gets thrown down. It does get caught. The nuke gets caught. We get a kill on the hatchery. And really, we're just waiting for a laser to push in. Like, typically in this situation, the reality is that Spirit, he's waiting for the Zerg player to take an inefficient fight into the Terran army. Waiting for that moment. As Spirit is refining himself, working on vehicle upgrades, getting another CC. Again, Spirit's on 6 bases. There we go. He does actually lay siege on the gold. Yeah, the gold base is going to be going down. As Spirit has slowly made his way across the map. Now, what's scary here is that a laser has not actually mined out the gold. The gold has yet to be mined out, and it is going to fall. At the same time, Lurker harass here towards the left-hand side. A laser gaining some ground. Forcing Spirit to respond. To get the orbital. But liberation has arrived. We have freedom. We don't on Burrow. Ooh, a laser. A laser. He leaves the army and he gets completely cleaned up. That was an expensive loss for a laser. Yeah, leaving his army idle there. That was a pretty big blow. I mean, thankfully, a laser can afford those losses. He's rich. but doesn't have the biggest gas bank. That was a lot of gas. And you can see a laser, he's remaxing with Hydra, so I don't think it was intentional for him to throw away those lurkers. Nuke does connect, almost takes down the base. The hatchery getting low. Hatchery is getting low. I see Spirit trying to zone away the army here with that nuke. And do we spot it, by the way? This is not the most of normal locations. Yeah, there we go. We do spot it. The laser's going to back up. Nuke doesn't quite connect. So far, Spirit trading well. Pushing forward, and a laser, he's going to... Does think about committing here. Spirit taking another base. Or trying to at least. Fighting for top left. He's also taking center right. Yeah, hatcheries are falling. Spirit, he's gaining more of the map. A laser being forced back. Now, when it comes to this kind of army that Spirit's working with, a laser has a more mobile army, and his goal here is to outposition Spirit. If he can rotate around, and he is rotating all the way towards the bottom right, where Spirit is not paying attention, we can get some free tanks. There we go. A couple of tanks going to be going down for free. Spirit not where he needs to be. Not where he needs to be. Gets one, gets two, gets three tanks. 3 tanks go down. We go straight for the planetary as well. Yeah, Spirit out of position. The base is going to fall. At the same time, though, a laser nowhere it needs to be either. That's going to be a lot of dead workers. 30 SCVs go down, but a laser, he loses a center left. He loses 2 hatcheries. He's going to lose a third as well. And Spirit, he's pushing right through the center. Pushing right towards the gold. Big Ling run by is coming in. Ling run by comes in. Gold base is going to be denied once again for a second time. Ling's a catch some reinforcements. Nuke is going to be connecting. Nuke does connect. A laser, he does save those northern bases, but he will lose the gold. Did I say save the northern base? He did lose them. He's quadruple expanding. Oh my god. A laser's got 4 hatcheries on the way. He's trying to take some of these bases, any of them. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can, as honestly in a head-on fight a laser cannot engage. Not with Lingbane Hydra. He's having a hard time engaging head-on. Liberation is here. You see Lingbane gonna be collapsing here. Where are the lives, by the way? They're not where they need to be. Liberators, they're all concentrated on the right, not towards the left. No freedom zones. Yeah, the repositioning is a little bit late. Big bailing connections here on some of those ghosts. But Spirit, he still takes a fight. As I say that, you can see here, Spirit, he's running out of gas. Like, that was the best that a laser could have hoped for. And a laser can remax, Spirit cannot. Spirit, he has 10,000 minerals, but 200 gas. He needs more mining. He needs more gas income. Spirit's in a bit of trouble. Like, in general, like, Spirit still has the better army right now. That is true. He does have the better army, but a laser can whittle away at it. If he's able to deny these southern bases, then Spirit will run out of steam. He'll run out of money. As I say that, Liberation zones are being set up. Spirit pushing forward. Lives a little bit late to siege. Just breaking through at least a handful of those Liberators, but he's being overwhelmed. A laser, he's going to be losing everything here. And we need to remax. A laser, he has a lava problem. I noticed before, a laser has a bank, but he can't remax. The dead hatcheries, because so many bases have been going down, lava is an issue. Where are the injects? Oh, where are the injects here? A laser, we have been missing injects quite hard. The macro of a laser has been slipping. He has money, but he can't spend it. And he's in trouble right now. He's in a lot of trouble. Ay, ay, ay. As Spirit, he's snowballing out of control. Spirit, he might not have money, but he has an army. Meanwhile, Laser has money, but no army. It's like the polar opposite here. You know, are you really rich if you can't actually spend it, right? It's like, I feel like we can be, we can dissect the situation of a Laser a little bit. We can be philosophical. Smooch. Are you a millionaire if you can't spend your $1 million? If it's just stuck there to be looked at. It's a nice fungal here on the Ghost. But that's all we had. We just had the fungal. GG gets called, and Spirit, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. And again, a Laser. There was a win. Is on a Laser here. Getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a Laser for Team Liquid. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Spirit for Na'Vi. Here we go. A Laser going for a 12 pool. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. But that is a 12 pool out of a Laser. Okay, now if you remember, Spirit did go CC first on Alcyone. Will he do it here on Solaris? That is the question. Is Spirit going to go for another greedy opener? There are speed zones. Because of the speed zones, rush distance by ground is quite short here for a Laser. He's going for gases. Oh my god. He's going for gases before the expansion, so this looks like a 12 pool into roaches. You would not need this many gases for a Baneling Bust. So 12 pool into a roach rush here from a Laser. He is committing very hard. Show us the roach one. There it is. Roaches are on the way. So a Laser's all in. He's going for a straight up all in here against Spirit, and Spirit, he goes CC first. No, it's a CC first out of Spirit. He's crazy. Okay, so this is where I'm concerned, and this is why you don't traditionally go CC first in this matchup. I was saying that, hey, like, Spirit, he could do it on Alcyone. That's fine. You know, it's standard on Alcyone. The problem is that Spirit does this kind of build every game. Doesn't matter what kind of map, he will go CC first, and a Laser is looking to punish him. A Laser is looking to punish him hard here. Now, because what does CC first mean? Specifically, factory is delayed. Delayed racks into a delayed factory, into delayed factory production. Because of that, these roaches early on, they're going to wreak havoc. There's going to be very little that can deal with them, and this may just be a straight up loss here as Lings have arrived. 12 pool is now known, is now revealed. CC is delayed. And the Roach Ravager is soon to be upon us. We scout the main base. We confirm that there is no factory. There's only one Reaper in production. And this might just be GG. I think this might just be over. I believe this should be a build order win from a Laser. Especially because there was no scouts. There was no SCV scouts. The Reaper just now pops out. So Spirit has no idea what's going on. He will finish the CC, but that doesn't matter because we're about to bust into the main. And our only unit to defend is the Reaper. It's Reaper into Reactor, by the way. That's the only unit here for Spirit. Again, we have just production on the way here. There's nothing else to fight. The boys, they have to be pulled. There's nothing else that can really be done here for Spirit. As we do deny that Reactor. Looks like it is going to be able to finish up. Good kiting here out of a Laser. Does focus on the Reaper. It's just SCVs. And you can see how quickly they fall. Reactor gets focused down. The factory won't finish. And there's nothing. There's just nothing here. GG gets called. And a Laser with the build order win. Does read Spirit like a book. he's laughing. Laughing, chuckling to himself a little bit there. GG, just like we have our lobby, we're loading on in and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ocean Board. We have a Laser for Team Liquid. And in the bottom right, we have Spirit for Na'Vi. And the question becomes, is Spirit going to go CC first again? I will say that this time a Laser's droning. A Laser's droning, he's not 12 pooling. So I would not blame Spirit to go CC first here, right? It's like a game of chicken. No reason not to. But he might be primed for the racks instead. We'll keep our eye on Spirit. He is safe to go CC first, though, is what I will say. As a laser's going for a hatch gas pool. There we go. Hatch gas pool opener here out of a laser. Spirit, he has no fear. CC first out of Spirit. He's like, mate, you're not gonna all-in me 2 games in a row. You don't have the pierogies. You don't have the pierogies for it, papi. You don't have it. He calls out a laser, and he's right. Spirit, he is correct. A laser when has first. Spirit gets away with his CC first. There you go. Let's go, papi. No fear out of Spirit. No fear. CC first. And this time, the game will not end. This time, the game will not end. As Spirit goes for the the SCV scout across the map. This is an adaptation that Spirit did not go for in the last game. So he's being a little bit safe. A little bit more safe here than previously. And it will confirm the timing of the hatchery. So now he knows there was a hatch first. Now he knows that everything's as it should be. So a little bit inefficient from Spirit because he was forced to scout. But from here, though, should be able to ease his way into his build. We're getting into our third game. And we're loading into Oceanborn. This is where we can talk about the map a little bit here. The map is quite short by ground, quite short of a rush distance, I do mean. So you can be quite assertive here. And my eyes are on a laser. Again, especially based on game 1. After we saw Spirit have his way with a laser in a longer macro game, I feel like a laser knows that he has to try to end things a little bit earlier instead. So this is not a bad map for a Roach Bush. We'll keep an eye out for something like a Roach Warren from a laser. We'll see if he does embrace it. For now, Link Speed is on the way. We're taking our third base. We are happily joining. Likewise, Spirit is going to be getting into his own build. I imagine we're going for a third CC before Starport. Factory is about to finish. And the third CC is thrown down. So very economic build here out of Spirit. This should be followed by a Starport. And we'll keep an eye on the racks to see if he goes for an add-on swap. We'll see if we go for the tech lab or not, as the starport is now on the way. What is on the way? Our laser is just going to be happily joining back at home. Still being active with a handful of lings, but only being active with them. There's that tech lab in production on the racks, and based on the building placement, it looks like we're going for an add-on swap. I'm trying to like squint at the minimap to confirm that. Reaper does move out, does get eyes on the third base. Ooh, but it does get shut down by the Speedlings. Nice pick off there, out of a laser. Very nicely done. Likewise, Banshees are on the way. As we mentioned, it is going to be Cloak Banshee out of Spirit. This is the same build that Spirit went for in Game 1. The exact same build. And fun fact, this is the same build he wanted to go for in Game 2, but was punished and denied. From here, we're still getting to our build. Still going to be droning up. Banshees will soon be moving out. So Stim is on the way. And we'll see if a laser's defense is going to be a little bit stronger this time. We'll see if he can keep up with the multi-pronged aggression of Hellions, Banshees, and Marines. As Spirit was able to pop off in that first game. And I'm sure he's feeling confident in a more straight-up game. Meanwhile, a laser's going lair first. Okay, so no Roach Warren. He's going lair first. With that faster lair, he's going to be getting into, I imagine, Baneling Nest soon thereafter. Just like Game 1, actually. Very similar to Game 1, where we should be going into a Baneling Nest, into delayed Evo Chambers, delayed upgrades. Hopefully this time Spirit is more on top of his own upgrades and he doesn't forget them. There it is. E-Bays are on the way. If you remember, he was late when it came to his 1-1 and 2-2 timings. As they were forgotten for a time. But again, Spirit tightening things up here. Very crisp build overall. There's that Baneling Nest that we spoke about. Again, with the lair opener, you do go for a faster Baneling Nest. This is lined up for Baneling Speed, and we go into delayed Evo Chamber upgrades out of a laser. In general, this is just all very similar to Game 1. very similar. As the laser is still just droning up as heavily as possible. Banshees are headed towards that natural. And here we go. The Banshees do rock up. They do get a queen. Ooh, first queen goes down. Big pick up. Do we get a second? Transfuse. We'll keep it alive so we do maintain ourselves. But that was a good start here for Spirit. A very strong start. Behind this, we have our Evo Chambers finishing up, getting into 1-1. 1-1 already well underway for Spirit. Banshees, they dip in, they get 2 more drones. Almost a third. Almost 3 workers go down. Hellions, they're poised for a run by. They're ready to pull the trigger. Not quite committing yet. We're thinking about it though. As the Hellions are revealed, Ling run by heading towards the third base is spotted by the Banshees. Spirit he sees. Does get eyes on these things. They do get into the mineral line. They do try to get some SCVs. Nice hold position micro, but Spirit does react in time. Does pull away. And Spirit, he cleans up the Lings, doesn't take any damage. But he was forced back home. And that does allow a laser to get into his 4th. And now a 5th. A laser is double expanding, getting his 5th and 6th base at the same time. But now that the Ling run-by has been cleaned up, Spirit can push. And the goal here is for Spirit to break some of these bases. Can he pull it off, though? Can he break him? Queens are being kept busy. Rocks are being knocked down. See a laser amassing his Ling Bane. 1-1 is done here for the Terran. Oh, where's the armory, though? Where's 2-2? As we are setting up for a big Ling Bane counterattack here at the 3rd. Spirit is pushing in. And I feel like Spirit has potential here with this army, but what about the counterattack? What about the Ling Bane run by? Spirit, he's going to take some damage. Aliens, they do crash in. Bunker is being repaired. We're barely holding on. Oh my god, Spirit! He shuts down the Ling Bane. Doesn't take any damage at all. Scan reveals the Borrowed Banelings. Yeah, the base on the right-hand side is going to be denied. But here we go, a laser collapsing on the tanks. And tanks are exposed. 1 tank going to be going down. 2nd tank as well. But the Marines are stimming on forward. And do we have any Banelings left? We do. We have a handful of Banelings left over. 1 hatchery will fall, but we don't break the 4th. Yeah, Broodlings are going down. Big tank volleys on the Queen. Big tank shots. A laser, he does try to collapse on this. Does get both tanks. Yeah, they were late to siege. A bit of a fumbled push there from Spirit. Losing both those tanks. And with that, he should be forced back. As I say that, we don't have a lot of Banelings. We got 14 Banelings on the way. We're going for the Queens. Good target fire. We get a handful of Queens. Reinforcing Banelings are coming in. But we do pick up. I'll pick up there at a Spirit. Again, Banshees having their way. Focusing down on Baneling after Baneling. Now, 2-2 from Spirit was delayed. You can see the +2 attack started up far before +2 armor. So the upgrades are a little bit lopsided here for Spirit, but regardless, they're on the way. 4th base is being taken. Spirit, he is still in this. He was forced back, but he is just regrouping, rebuilding. Didn't sustain any economic damage. But Laser, he's also happily on 87 workers. Remember, he double expanded. And sure, his 6th was killed, but he had a 5th base. It was Knight on the right, but he had the left-hand base up and running. So, a Laser, he's in a much better position than he was in Game 1. Game 1 was a lot more brutal. You see some drop play coming in for Spirit. Marines, they get behind the mineral line. They're going to be cleaned up. And they get a Queen, they get a couple of drones, but not much else. Oh, the medevac, it's so low. We do pick up, we do get the hell out of there. We'll have to retreat. Laser setting up his own run by once again with Ling Bane. Both players are maxing out. Now, Spirit still has a very heavy bio army, so we should still be pushing. But I'm sure after this next push, we will be turtling up. I mean, we already are trying to. We have CCs on the way. Spirit fortifying himself, going for some Liberated Harass. Creep being denied Banelings. They do crash in. This time the bunker will fall. This time we do get the bunker. Banelings are targeted down as well, but Lings, they do bust into the natural base. SCVs are finally going down. We get 4 SCVs for 6 drones. And we still have some borrowed Lings. God, that's a lot of Ling Bane. Again, you can see a laser just having a lot more momentum this time. He has a lot more freedom. Does have a lot more freedom here. God, that's so many Banelings! Spirit refusing to go into Widow Mines. He's just building up more tanks. Going for these big pushes. That tank is a little bit late to siege, which is concerning. The base is taking some hits. The laser going for a counterattack. Oh, at the same time, we do have a double jump towards the left-hand side. Bailey's rolling in. They're going straight for the middle line, and they will get in. 2 Baileys do make it through, and we get 5, 6, 7, 9 SCV kills. Big damage dealt here to Spirit. We get 9 workers. At the same time, he does kill a hatchery. Does kill 2 bases, actually. Spirit kills the 5th and the 6th. Knocking a laser down to 4 bases. But Spirit, he has some droning to do. He has to resaturate his bases, get back into SCV production. Does have to get back in. Meanwhile, he is encroaching upon that 4th. There we go, a laser collapsing on this army. From the right-hand side, we'll get one of those tanks. Gets a 2nd. The spread, though, the spread from Spirit is looking pretty damn good. Does fall back to the planetary, but is that going to be enough? A laser looks like he barely breaks through. Yeah, he collapses on this army. Takes down the planetary. Reinforcements are on the way. We go for the mules. Do we go for the repair? He's mining. He's not even... There we go. We get the repair off just barely. A laser catching some reinforcements. Marines doing what they can. Medevac does barely back off, and Spirit holds. He holds onto his planetary. He did kill 2 bases. And a laser, he burned through most of his bank doing that. A laser, he was very committed there. He's pushing in a little bit too soon. Where are the Banelings? Where are the Lings? Hydras are falling one after the other. Expensive losses there for a laser. Pushing into all these tanks. It's not going to be worth it. Spirit, he shuts this down. You can see Banelings crashing into tanks. Hydras getting exposed. And the supply does swing heavily here in favor of Spirit. Yeah, he cleans this up. More Marines on the way. 1 Hydra is left. GG gets called. Again, that fight was not it. And Spirit will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. Ooh. Spirit, he was so excited on cams. GG, well played. Again, a laser was pretty all in with his push. I'm not referring to the final attack, the final fight, but before that, when a laser lost his 5th and 6th base, when he was pushing towards the planetary, that is where a laser, because he committed so hard, he forced himself all in. He was very all in, and he failed to break the planetary. He failed to break the army. Reinforcements trickled in for Spirit. Spirit held, and Spirit was able to counterattack. And with that, a laser, he was in a really rough position. Even though that was a really bad fight towards the end, he had to take the fight because now he's up against the best Protoss in Geralt. Or we're not going to be here. Tomorrow, we're not going to be here. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in the air as we are returning. I am returning to Australia. I'm returning to Australia tomorrow. So unfortunately, I won't be able to cast tomorrow's matches live, but I promise you that we will cast it at a later date. We'll cast it most likely on Thursday, the day after. So in 2 days, we're going to be back here with day number 2 of the European and North American closed qualifier. Unfortunately, we can't cast it tomorrow. I mean, technically, I could try, but it's unwise. No, yeah, no, we can't. We can't. So, won't be able to cast it tomorrow at all, as I will be traveling and heading on over to Australia. Back to Australia. And what does that mean? That means that the camera is going to be back. That means we can finally cast on cams once again after so long. I know you're going to miss this face. You're going to miss this pose. I'll try to replicate it as often as possible. I'll do my best. I'll do my best to give you what you want. It's going to be beautiful. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening tomorrow. So that means that there won't be a stream. There won't be a stream tomorrow. But there is a stream in a couple of hours. Let me just quickly double check. But I believe in 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours time, we're going to be live here on the channel. So plenty of StarCraft to come. Plenty of StarCraft on the horizon here. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. If you're curious what's in 6.5 hours, it is going to be a show match. It's going to be a show match between Fort Jumi and Namshar, a best of 7 on the new patch and the new maps. It's going to be a chaotic series. It's going to be a chaotic show match with the new patch and the new maps. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Hope you enjoy. Hope you do enjoy. Otherwise, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego, papi. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi. Ciao. Hasta luego. Oh, right. If you enjoyed, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. ! Socials in the chat. ! YouTube in the chat as well. Have a good trip and some well-deserved time off from casting. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, whenever I have time off from casting, I'm usually just traveling. So it's going to be our day off, first day off in a while. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a safe trip. Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing your gob moving again, Light. Look forward to it. It's going to be beautiful. Going to be beautiful. Ciao, papi, ciao. So you can follow us on all the social medias if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in 6.5 hours. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao.